We're ready? Rob, I want to send this to you.
Pat, also Putin and Trump meeting. I have a video of Putin being asked who called for the meeting, and he refused.
Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
All right, so guys, if you're tuning in with us, episode number, Rob, what number are we on right now?
626.
626. Adam's made a request for us to move the podcast to Vegas. I'm not with him. I'm just telling you
No,
right
I
now.
can't do it. I
Last
can't do it.
night, we're at the award ceremony, PHP, you know, we're at MGM Grand, the place is off the charts. Ray Lewis crushed it. Coach K told a story that I have to share with you guys. Shout out to Coach K. I don't know if you know what story I'm talking about, the bus story. I have to tell that story. Mm-hmm. And we're there nearly 10. It's probably our second best big event we ever had. The best one I would say was the one with Kobe, the late Kobe, President Bush, you know, all that event that we had. But this is what everybody looked like last night. Look at this, Rob. Can you pull up this picture?
Ladies, be careful.
No, just
look at these studs. Look at the stud in the middle. Dilly boy.
This is Dylan. Dylan's got the look where it's like, ladies, I've graduated.
Yeah, it's true.
I now know what I'm doing. Tico looks like he's connected to the mob with his hairdo. By the way, Daddy did that hair. If he can zoom in a little bit.
Great hairdo, Tico.
Look at Tico, bro.
That right there.
growing
Tom
up.
to the right. And then we have who? Vinny looking like
Sex
a
machine. Oh, look at
absolutely. And then zoom
Those,
out a little
those
bit.
eyes
baby.
could talk.
Zoom out,
Vincent.
zoom out, zoom out.
Don't
zoom
get
out,
me
zoom
some
out.
of that.
Look at
And then
Mateo.
Mateo in the
looking like
pink
a G.
shirts.
And Adam looks like he's 15 years away from 60. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. But we had a good time. And we got a lot of stories to go through. Some bad news for Howard Stern. I don't know if you guys heard that.
The future doesn't look
getting
bright
canceled.
for him.
No, it's tough. ESPN is inking a deal with NFL to acquire NFL Network, Red Zone Channel, and there is equity in exchange. It's a very interesting thing that's going on here on how they're doing it, the 10% deal. Tom is going to break the whole thing down for you guys. An almost tragic story where a sergeant shoots 5 soldiers in his unit at Fort Stewart before getting stopped. The 5 folks got injured, but I don't think anybody died.
Correct. Let's hope.
Yeah, as of right now, everything seems to be fine, but we'll talk about that. Trump threatens to federalize D.C. after attack on Doge staffer. Now, a lot of people don't want that on the liberal side, and you have to realize D.C. mayor since 1974, 100% of all the mayors they've had have all been Democrats. You've had some 51 years to fix the city. You haven't. The president's finally putting his foot down and saying, we're going to do something about it. So maybe there's going to be an opening there. Adam's guy who used to party with back in the days just broke a story yesterday. Hunter Biden claims Epstein,
my boy,
was murdered in latest unhinged interview. He's doing a lot of unhinged interviews. I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix or somebody signs a contract with him to do a podcast because he says some weird stuff and he gets eyeballs. Murdoch to provide health updates in Trump's deal to delay Epstein case deposition. Trump says he will probably not seek a third term. You have to see he gives 2 names of who he thinks could be president. U.S. trade deficit hits nearly a 2-year low in June. Chip gap plunges. New Hampshire, first new state. We didn't talk about that. This time we're going to get into it. The 996 work schedule could be coming to your workplace soon. The 996 is working from 9 to 9, 6 days a week. And some people are worried about it. That's a Forbes story that turns into a liberal magazine nowadays. It used to be a capitalist magazine. Now it's the worst place to go if you're an entrepreneur, in my opinion.
And China's mouthpiece.
That's right. We're going to talk about Jaguar. By the way, the new guy that bought it, he bought 75% of it at $800 million, and he's a billionaire here, so he bought it away from China. So I don't think China owns it anymore like they did before, although they probably have some influence. Indian components found in Russian drones used for Putin's war. We'll talk about that. Trump moves the nuclear wheel. We didn't react to it last time. Netanyahu believes occupying Gaza is the only way to save the hostages, but it'll also start bloodiest phase of the year, yet experts warn. Vinny's favorite story. So we'll definitely go to that. Global outbreak. Fear surge as virus in China prompts quarantines and thousands of new cases are reported. And Anthony Fauci may be making a comeback. That last part's not part of the story, but who knows?
You never know.
Hulk Hogan's daughter sparks conspiracy theories over her father's death as friend cries foul play, meaning maybe the current wife is involved, is what they're saying. Elon Musk is officially the most unpopular figure in America. Who was the other guy, number 2? I don't want to say. We'll get to it. But he's the most unpopular figure in America. And they asked President Trump about it, and he has actually very nice things to say about it. Trump closes a additional $100 billion with Apple for a total of $600 billion. Kennedy cancels nearly $500 million in mRNA vaccine contracts. Stressed adults. Folks, I swear to God, if you're one of these stressed adults that watches this podcast, go home. Go watch something else. I'm begging you. If this story is true, and you're watching this right now with a soska in your mouth, some of you guys don't know what soska is. Soska is, if you're Armenian, if you're Russian, please in the comment section tell everybody what soska means. You know what a soska means.
Kaiser soska?
No, this is a very different soska.
No.
Stressed adults rely on pacifiers, a.k.a. soskas, to soothe themselves. I feel a sense of safety from childhood. Are you free? This is like a joke. Rob, I'm like, this is not a Babylon Bee or an Onion story. This is a New York Post story. Adults are going around with soskas.
Rob, take your soska out of your mouth.
That is ridiculous. Trump plans to sit down with Putin and Zelensky in the first meeting between leaders since Ukraine war began. Putin was asked, who prompted the meeting? You have to see the answer. Very interesting. And by the way, some sad news for MSNBC and CNN listeners and viewers. They lost 40% of viewers compared to last year. Heartbreaking. We were concerned about it, but we just kind of wanted to give them a shout out. So I think, some people should go support him. There's nothing wrong with that. You should go out and watch some of that. By the way, I still think when Jennings is on, I want to hear what he has to say. And then Vinny sees a video with these 3 African-American kids in Dallas, Walgreens, with the way they're behaving. I'm going to show you guys a video from 1986 where they're interviewing black mothers. And you have to see what the stats was back then. And this is the whole idea of what bad policies destroy great communities in a major way. We'll show you that clip. I can't wait to share that clip with you because I think it's unbelievable. Anyways, having said that, every year, folks, there's threats. When you're in business, when you're building your business, whatever you're doing. This year, we are releasing our annual Top 20 Threat Report coming up at a free webinar on August 19, 6 p.m. with a white paper that will be given to everybody. These are threats that we personally go through ourselves. We now have grown our business the last couple of years from 20 employees, 30 employees to now 164 full-time employees. This is not ICs. This is not independent contractors. I'm talking that's on the valuetainment side. And then on the PHV side, we're dealing with a complete different threats. So we're simply taking all of those threats and we're sharing it with you to be ready with it. Some of it is evergreen threats. Some of it is emerging green. Some of it is black swan threats. But it's things that you need to know about. So if you haven't yet registered for this, I think I'm saying this for the first time today, but maybe you've seen some of the ads other places. Go to vtwebinar.com. Again, vtwebinar.com. Sign up for it. Anybody that's on there at the end of it, we will give the white paper of the 20 threats to all of you. Again, go to vtwebinar.com, register for it, and we'll share it with you.
Tons of great information. Be ready. Tune in.
Thank you, Tom. Having said that, let me share with you guys what Coach K said last night. I think it's important for everybody to be thinking about this. Last night, as a consultant, I'm giving this message to everybody. And I was thinking about the entire time, what should I share? So I gave 150 pictures over the years of what we've done. And I found one of Tom's favorite pictures. I'm telling history, stuff that we've done. We're laughing. We're going through. I mean, it's a great story. But one of the things was that all of us in life, yesterday we're having breakfast, the conversation we had with Adam. I don't know if you remember that conversation.
I do remember that conversation, sir.
Yeah, incredible conversation we had is, how do you measure a man? Like, what is a man? If I ask you what is a man, not the chromosome man, not the funny stuff that we're talking about.
What is a woman?
No, I'm not talking about that game. I'm talking about how do you measure a man? Wouldn't you look at a man and say, man, that's a man's man? What does a man's man need to do to be a man? There's levels in life. There's levels in wealth. There's levels in sports. There's levels in greatness. There's levels in being a man. And unfortunately, a lot of times, especially nowadays, we are living in an era where the same way women are kind of going through the era of what? I don't need a man. I don't need this. J-Lo just said something last night. She said, after being married 5 times or whatever, I have decided I'm choosing me.
Oh, God.
I'm choosing me. You're choosing you? What are you choosing, bro? How old are you? This is it. After 4 divorces and 6 different engagements, 56-year-old singer Jennifer Lopez says she's done with marriage and she's choosing herself, right? And oh my God, she's so amazing. Good for you for choosing you. Good for you for doing this. There's nothing more unattractive than a single woman in her 50s that's wealthy. No one's interested. Nobody is. Maybe a 22-year-old that wants to come marry you and get half your wealth 5 years later, but people are not interested. But this is like this new era. I don't need a man. I can do my own thing. And for men, guess what men are going through? Screw you. You want to do this? I don't want any responsibilities. Don't give me any responsibilities. I'm going to choose me too. So who wins? You know who wins? The enemy wins. Who's the enemy? The enemy is another country. The enemy is another denomination. The enemy is another philosophy, ideology that doesn't match with the Western ideology that became the greatest country in the world. It doesn't match with freedom of speech. It doesn't match with freedom of assembly. It doesn't match with freedom of religion. It just doesn't. So men are sitting there, they're going on a strike. Screw you. I'm choosing me too. Now what? And so neither one of them are right. So the whole idea of men, we measure men based on more responsibilities they carry. What they do for their family, what they do for their kids, what they do for their communities, what they do for their state, for their country, for their church. That's a man's man. There's layers to it, right? So last night I talked about the 6 levels we all go through. Number 1 is we're lost. Mm-hmm. Number 2, somebody finds us and believes in us and says, hey, I believe in you. I think you can do X, Y, Z. Maybe you find God. Maybe you find church. Maybe you find a good influence in your life. Number 3, you finally commit. Mm-hmm. I'm going to choose to change my life. Number 4, lifestyle changes. You're living a better lifestyle. You're living in a better place. You have some money in the bank. You're feeling confident. You're feeling good about yourself. And then phase number 5, if you can skip it, good for you. Phase number 5 is when you get bored, when you get entitled, when you get ungrateful, when you forget about all the people that helped you. Like, no one helped me. I did all this for myself. And then finally, hopefully, you go to phase number 6, which is choosing legacy, choosing history, choosing to do something big with your life. And Coach K is speaking on stage. I'm listening to this man, walking up. Him and I are talking, and I'm, if you ever see me taking pictures with Guy, I'm touching his shoulders. I'm like, holy moly, Coach K, you got some traps. It's like, who the hell is this guy? Like putting his arms all around me, all this stuff. I'll post the story on Instagram afterwards. He's on stage. He says when he was a young man, 10 years old or something, playing basketball, his mom tells him a story, and it's the story of Bus. He says, Mom, I want to go play. Leave me alone. He says, no, Michael, specifically said Michael, not Mike. Michael, stay here. I have to tell you the story. What's that? In life, you better get on the right bus. He says, Mom, which bus are you talking about? I got to go play basketball. Because Coach K ended up playing at one point for Bobby Bowden. No, not
Bobby Knight?
Bobby Knight. He played for Bobby. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think in the military.
That's right, because he was in the Army.
Yeah, correct.
So she's like, what are you talking about with the bus? He says, if you're going to get on someone's bus, you better choose the right bus. And if you're going to be the driver on your bus, you better choose the right people to get on your bus. If you allow the wrong people to get on your bus, life will be destroyed. And if you get on the wrong bus, your life will be destroyed. So for you watching this right now, before we get into all these stories, I don't want to say this at the end. Normally I would say that at the end, but I just want to open it up with this monologue. It's amazing what can happen to any one of our lives if you choose to have the right people in your ear and if you choose to raise your standards. It's one of the hardest things to do as young men. Well, men nowadays are afraid of responsibilities. No, kids. No, 1.59 childbirth per woman. No, I don't want any responsibilities. But that's not what a leader does. That's not what a man's does. That's not what a man that wants to be look back later on when they come to your funeral, they're looking at you saying, holy moly, this man changed my life. This is my father. Men are sitting there, women are sitting there at your funeral saying, I am so proud to have had a relationship with this person. And that kind of a person only happens when you choose to make a decision in your life. And it's not easy to do. It's very hard to do. But I just wanted to open up with that. Do whatever you want with the story. Last night was just a very special night for me. I've been in this business for 25 years, in the financial insurance business. Most of you guys only know me as a podcaster. You don't know what I do on the business side. I'm meeting with all these CEOs that are running multi-billion-dollar insurance companies, all these different conversations. The industry changed our lives. But if it's the right person watching this, if this message resonated with you, graduate from lost to found to committed. And then try to skip the entitled, the bored, the no one helped me out, I did it all myself, the lack of gratitude phase, and pursue legacy and history. Because great things are around the corner. I do believe the future looks bright. I'm convinced the future looks bright. Every time I say the future looks bright, it's amazing. Half the people in the world want to convince me that it doesn't look bright. But it's unfair. You don't know. You're only saying that's because you have money. I said that when I was broke, $49,000 in debt, and I had nothing, and I said the future looks bright. I don't know why. I said the future looks bright. It's a mentality, it's a mindset that every one of us can have. That's what we believe in. That's what our brand's all about. Yesterday, a guy comes up to me, one of these insurance executives. I saw your son selling a shoe that says future looks bright. I said, yeah. So what are you going to sell next? I said, what do you mean, what am I going to sell? You're saying it as if it's bad to sell something. And he kind of got checked real quick. I'm like, you sell life insurance, bro. I've been proud to sell life insurance my entire life. But I respect anybody that sells anything. We're at a podcast say they sold us this place. And guess what? They have so many people working here. It's like over preparation for us. Typically, I'm like trying to get focused on what I'm doing. Do you guys need this? Do you guys need that? I'm like, holy shit. Like unreasonable hospitality. These guys are on steroids here. But they're selling themselves. I freaking love it. This is what business and life is all about. You ought to be proud of it. Whatever you're doing, if you're going to be industrious, be proud of what you're doing. Anyways, I don't want to go on a rant because I want to go into the stories. But last night was a very, very special night for anybody that was there. Love you guys. What a historic night. I'm going to post some of the pictures. We got so many great stories from last night. Everybody crushed it. And congratulations to Chris and Vicina Hart.
I was just going to mention that.
They were on fire.
Got to give a shout out to
MVP.
Can I ask you just one quick follow-up on this?
Yes.
By the
What
way,
a family.
amazing night. Shout out to PHP. Shout out to Integrity. Shout out to Chris Hart, who won the MVP, I believe. Shout out to Sapala. Vargas's.
Earned.
Here's my question for you on these 6 phases that we all go through.
Yes.
We've all been lost. We all found we get someplace where we're going.
Yep.
We get committed. Then you get the lifestyle, and lifestyle creep sets in. All right, I get a nicer car. I get a nicer clothes. To me, the biggest challenge is...
Some people get nicer cars, but
That's
just
true.
maybe you
Not
get a
me,
nicer
not
Uber.
me.
Better Uber Black. Uber Black.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Better
They get a
Ubers.
driver's license, then they
better friends.
Yes.
But to me, phase 5 is where reality sets
is.
in. And where it's like, all right, I've made some money. I've done some things.
Yep.
And it's natural, maybe a week, or 2, a month. All right.
Yep.
How do you avoid going into, I'm the man kind of vibe now and get back to work?
You know who's the first people you don't want to be around when you're going through that phase of boredom? Ungrateful, entitled, arrogant, rebellion, like everything's about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know who the people you hate the most in those seasons? You know who the people you hate the most?
Tell me.
The people that'll tell you the truth.
Oh.
The people that'll check you in
The
the
truth
heartbeat.
tellers?
You cannot stand the high standard people. All you want to do is be surrounded by people that want to flatter you. And flattery is one of the worst drugs in the world. It's deception. It's manipulation. It's gamification. It's finding a way to divide between you and high standards. Whether it's your wife who doesn't want you to work too hard, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's your brother, whether it's your sibling, whether it's your best friend that still wants you to party, he doesn't want you to go and become a family man because he's going to lose you at the nightclubs. I'll never forget a friend of mine, Devine. I absolutely love Devine. Till today, I think about that guy. I can tell you his phone number. I can tell you his birthday. The only guy that when I was in the Army, when I came back, I stayed with him for 18 days. I lived at his place for 18 days. Baharians, Devine, whoever sends you this video, I love you. I worked with this guy at Burger King 30 years ago. 30 years ago? Yeah, maybe 31 years ago. I worked with him at Burger King, me, Devine, and Kogan. And Devine was the drive-through guy, legendary drive-through guy. He was a good drive-through man. He was fast.
What do you mean the drive-through guy?
He was
the guy that you heard.
The guy you would come and buy
Welcome
stuff.
to Burger King.
But if you work at Burger King, your drive-through, that's a promotion.
Wow.
Eddie,
And that was really
who was
his
our
voice, by the way.
manager, never gave me the drive-through job. I said, Eddie, He says, you're just a chef.
You were the CEO of Burger Flipping.
I would do Whopper, no onions. Boom, boom, boom. That was me, right?
Quick.
So let me be a cashier. He says, you talk to people too much. Stay back. I was the biggest chef they had, and I intentionally call myself chef.
Yes.
I was a chef. Okay?
At Burger
Chef
King.
David at Burger King, right? David one day calls me. We used to party a lot together. He calls me. He says, hey, Pat. I said, what's up? He says, hey, man, you ain't coming to the clubs anymore. I says, yeah, bro, I'm done. He says, what are you doing right now? I said, I'm studying stocks. It's Saturday night. He says, I'm sorry, what are you doing? I said, I'm studying stocks, trying to see what to do. I'm trying to get my securities, all this other stuff. He says, Pat, we're going to the club tonight. Come with us. I says, I have no interest. He says, Pat, let's go to the club. We're going to have a good time. I said, Devine, I'm not coming to the club. We had gone to a party with one of my friends, Armin, bless his soul, and another guy named Mesrop. He'll remember this. Mesrop, Armin, and Devine should remember this. We're at a club. We went to see a girl. She was there. We said hi. Some stupid things happened there. Again, this is not the club. This is the party in Burbank. Up in Angelino. I don't know if some of the people from there know. It's close to the, what is the spot at top of Burbank, Tom? That place that was a makeout place.
Not Castaway.
No, say it.
Castaway.
Yeah, Castaway.
Glendale.
Tom, what was it?
Well, let me
I
tell
don't
you.
know. I was always up at the top.
Where you were
of,
necking all
I
the back.
told,
you know.
I told Devine.
getting a parking ticket.
Something
while in the
happened that
backseat.
night. I said, I'm done. I have no desire to be here. I moved on. Devine calls me and says, I missed the old Pat. I will never forget that phone call. When he says, Pat, I missed the old Pat.
The Pat that used to party.
Yes. And for a split second, I was like, damn, that hurt. And then I was shell-shocked. And if he remembers this, he's probably going to text me. If he remembers this, I said, I don't miss the old Pat.
That's what matters.
I am done. Period. Until you're not too, this doesn't mean we can't reminisce. This doesn't mean we can't laugh. This doesn't mean we can't sit there and talk about the stories. But I didn't miss the old Pat. I had seen my dad that almost died. Life was changing quickly. Chaos everywhere. I have not a single penny to my name. And you want me to go and party to do what? With people that just want to do ecstasy, roll, drink water at 2 o'clock. We go to Naked, then we go to this other club. I'm out. I was done. And life changed. So for you, when you're going through that phase, the hardest thing about going through the ungrateful, bored, entitled phase is having people around you that tell you what you want to hear versus what you need to hear. The people that are around you that tell you what you need to hear are the most annoying people in the world. Are the most annoying people in the world. There's scripture tells us, Tom, you can, I'm going to paraphrase this, that a kiss from an enemy versus the truth from a friend. You can find this, Rob. There's
That's right.
faithful
better
are
is-
the wounds of a friend, but the
Yep.
kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
And the wounds of a friend are sharp words of truth.
Yes. So guess what? You want that? That's tough. Yeah. That is so hard. And unfortunately, I've been that guy for a lot of people, and most of the time they don't like it, but it's not changing because we got a big vision of what we want to do. Very simple.
This is why so many athletes get those posses, which is old friends and everybody and their new contract, and it all ends in tears because they get wiped out, they're buying stuff. No one's there to help them build structure. And if they get a good coach, they talk about Dean Smith, they talk about Coach Krzyzewski. How many players have talked about the influence of that
Changed
college
my life,
coach?
changed this.
Exactly.
That's right. In a big way. Okay. So, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, like, just really fast. When I was sitting there yesterday with Adam, and I'm looking at this list, because everything in my head, I'm like, how does this apply to me? And then when I saw Lost, I go, Lost, L.A., friends passed away, COVID, life was going down. I found you. I found you on Insta. I saw the picture of you, and I saw David. I go, my cousin's Mike's name is David. Click, boom, found, and then came here, lifestyle change, gave myself to Christ, stopped drinking. And by the way, I was nervous because I was like, am I bored and entitled? I go, no, I'm not in the bored and entitled, but now it's the legacy. And
You can graduate that.
But that was your commitment
You can
stage.
graduate that. We never even hit it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, wait, meaning I was bored of who I wanted to recreate myself, but I'm like, I wasn't entitled to anything. So when I saw it, I was like, holy crap, that's for everybody has to go through it.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen.
That's what I'm saying.
Your commitment stage is one of the most
my-
inspiring things I've ever seen.
My
Thanks,
oldest
Tommy.
son
I
is
love
on the
you.
other side, and Tico, wherever you are, I think you're somewhere here
He
with
loves
us.
bow ties.
He's in the back. He's trying to get a job over here. He kind of likes these guys
There's
a lot.
Tico back there. He's
there's
looking.
Tico back
He
there.
sees.
Putting bow ties in a shredder.
Yesterday, they're coming back, and it's 12 o'clock, and they left a little bit. 11 o'clock, you guys are leaving. What did Tico tell you? And
We're in the car.
Rob,
I'm
can
like,
you put up that picture with him in the bow tie? Watch this. So I'm putting up the bow tie, and he's like sick. And I told him, Tico, I'm doing this
Looking
tie.
good, Tico.
Tell me. This is a story only him and Dylan know. I said, Tico, I'm doing the bow tie tight. Look how sick it is.
No,
how
it's
tight
ridiculous.
I said, is your voice changed? And he goes like this, it's not tight. I said, you sure it's not tight? And what does he say
so
last night?
We're in the car going back, me, Jen, and Rob, and then I'm like, man, I got to get to the room. I got to prep for the podcast and pack because we're leaving. And then Tico goes, just like this, he goes, I'm going to get back to the room. I'm going to take off this bow tie, and I'm going to set it on fire. he hates bow ties.
Dude, I asked him if he likes bow ties. He said he does.
He hates them.
Hang on, Tico. It's a
Look at that
non-smoking
face.
room.
Look at that face.
You make
bro.
it look good, Tico, man.
Boy.
By the way, Tico,
I will tell you, I'm proud of that guy, man.
Yeah. Well, listen.
I'm proud of that guy.
He's an inch away from being Tom's height at 13 years old.
true.
He's going places.
And
anyway,
possibly smarter than Tom.
Yeah, well,
I
yeah,
think he's got work to do.
that's a big
That's a
leap.
bit
The
stretch.
world is taller than me.
yeah. Okay. All right. So let's get into some of the stories. And one story I want to get into is Howard Stern. Okay. We are going to get into the story with DC right after this one, but let me start off with Howard Stern. Howard Stern's show to be canceled after nearly 20 years on SiriusXM as $100 million contract is up this year. Okay. So let me read this story. Is this Trump's reaction to it?
Yes, he was asked about this at the White House yesterday.
Go for it. Play it.
Yes, I've got an entertainment-based question for you. A few weeks ago, Stephen Colbert announced that he was leaving his show. Howard Stern announced that him and Sirius XM Radio are parting ways. Do you think the hate Trump business model that's been in the entertainment business is going out of business because it's not popular with the American people?
Well, it hasn't worked, and it hasn't worked really for a long time, and I would say pretty much from the beginning. Colbert has no talent. I mean, I could take anybody here. I could go outside in the beautiful streets and pick up a couple of people that do just as well or better. They get higher ratings than he did. He's got no talent. Fallon has no talent. Kimmel has no talent. They're next. They're going to be going. I hear they're going to be going. I don't know, but I would imagine because they get, Colbert has better ratings than Kimmel or Fallon. You know that. Howard Stern, it's a name I haven't heard. I used to do a show, we used to have fun, but I haven't heard that name in a long time. What happened? He got terminated?
Yeah, they're going to separate ways because I think what they're offering salary-wise is real low than what he's getting.
You know when he went down?
Whenever you want.
You know when he went down? No. Before,
COVID?
when he endorsed Hillary Clinton, he lost his audience. People said, give me a break. He went down when he endorsed Hillary Clinton.
Mr. President.
All right, so let me give you numbers here. Tom, I'm going to come to you. Sources telling the U.S. Sun that Howard Stern latest 5-year contract valued at $80 to $100 million annually is up in the fall, and SiriusXM does not intend to meet his salary demands. Sirius and Stern are never going to meet on the money he is going to want. It's no longer worth the investment. One insider said, though they expect Sirius to strike a deal for Stern's catalog upon his exit, the decision follows financial concerns, with another source referencing the high cost after what happened with Stephen Colbert, 71 years old. They're moving on. Tom, what's going on here?
Well, once again, this is fun with headlines, right, Pat? And it's fun. So it's set to be canceled. They didn't say they're canceling it. The Sun headline is it's set to be canceled. What do they mean? The contract's expiring.
That's it.
And and so that's it. And so you're not set to be canceled.
71 years old.
That's right. Yeah, so there's 3 things. Actually, there's 4 things going on. Number one, he's 71 years old, and he's increasingly out of touch with the audience that's there. Second, he is a hard left liberal, and hard left shows have not done well. Moderate and conservative shows do better than hard left. That's just a fact. Third, Sirius, like many of the other platforms out there, and 3-letter platforms like CNN that have been trimming people's contact. We saw all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
People getting contracts canceled, getting, escorted off the air and say, well, it's not really audience. No, it is. And Colbert losing $40 million. So reason number 3, old media platforms can't afford the contracts they put in. If anybody knows about the A-Rod contract and how it went from Seattle to Texas to New York, A-Rod was a gifted athlete, but the contract that was made at the time ended up being too rich for the economics of the game. That's the economics of the game. And number 4, the 4th thing is that Stern still thinks that he's worth this in his head. So it's hard for people. The talent gets in denial because your contract is the validation of your persona. And taking a lower value contract is really difficult for a lot of athletes and a lot of celebrities, which leads to the statement at the bottom that Sirius may say, okay, well, we'll just buy your catalog. How many times have we seen music labels buying the entire Michael Jackson or the Beatles catalog? And then they work with the big three, Sirius, Apple Music, and Pandora, and then they just cultivate that catalog forever. So that's what's going on with Howard Stern. He's not going to be canceled. It's more like it's going to be a non-renewal for the money he wants, and it's a sign of old big contracts just are not happening again in the media landscape. The new media landscape is the podcast. It's not the linear. And Sirius has got serious issues economically because it's a kind of a walled garden.
Yeah. Vinny, your thoughts?
Yeah, and listen, it's just really sad because, I mean, if you guys remember, Howard Stern, well, this guy was a pioneer, and Rob could attest because Rob was in radio. Pioneer in radio. He'd be doing sketches live, and yeah, he did some crazy stuff. He did blackface, and he did some really racist stuff where a lot of people, got away with it, especially if you were on the left. But it's like, I'm truly happy that all of these leftist, unfunny Democrats are all their political hacks to me. They're all getting canned from he's going bye-bye, Howard Stern, Jim Acosta, Joy Reid, Stephen Colbert, Whoopi and all them are taking this break. But it's like they've mocked Americans for how long? They've pushed propaganda, and now they're getting flushed out one at a time. And let's not forget who Howard Stern was. Rob, do you have these two clips of what he said?
Yep.
This is, for all the people out there that are supporting Trump, you just leaned one way politically, this is what he had to say about all the people that voted for Trump.
I don't agree with Trump politically. I don't think he should be anywhere near the White House. I don't hate the guy. I hate the people who vote for him. I think you're stupid.
Yep.
I don't think I do. I'll be honest with you. I have no respect for you.
And guess what? That type of rhetoric, and mind you, remember what you said about the bad policies, Pat? This whole attitude, this resentment, this, hey, you're going to alienate half of the freaking country. You hate us. You don't even hate Trump. You hate us for what? Because we don't want to think like the status quo. And then what about the vaccine? Remember what he said about vaccine? Rob, play this clip about what he said about people that aren't vaccinated.
Anyone unvaccinated would not be admitted to a hospital. At this point, they've been given plenty of opportunity to get the vaccine. They don't trust our government. They think that there's some conspiracy to turn them into a magnet or something like this. Now, if you don't get it, in my America, all hospitals would be closed to you. You're going to go home and die.
Okay, and guess what? That type of attitude, guys, after a while, Adam, Tom, it starts to catch up with you. People, and by the way, Sirius XM, with all the numbers and stuff that you did, though, Tom, it's over. All this nonsense of talking to us like that, like we're like, what? How is it cool to have that attitude? You think you're going to still have?
And
followers?
That comment, I'll flip this right back to you. Yeah. That comment there, does that sound kind of authoritarian? And they're saying Trump's authoritarian. Oh, I'm going to close the hospitals. You can't even go in. Seriously?
Yeah.
Goes back to the liberal technique.
Yeah.
Accuse
the other
side
of what you're
already doing.
Yep.
Adam.
So the hating Trump business model is officially closed.
It's been closed.
That was the initial question. He says, the people that hate you, how does that business model work? He's like, they're all getting done. So Howard Stern, Stephen Colbert, Fallon, Kim, all these names, I think Trump was wrong. I think all these people that he claimed have no talent are actually incredibly talented. Jimmy Fallon, incredibly talented. Howard Stern, very talented guy. Colbert, very talented. Where they're not talented is reading the room. Understanding, hey, we have a huge pizza pie that we could all carve up. And they basically said, nope, throw the other half in the garbage. All these people,
deplorables,
yeah. We don't want any of that. We're going to focus right here. And then you're just carving up whatever's left, and they're basically sharing.
So you're saying they have talent, but they have no audience, which means they have no brains.
That's a
correct.
Story.
There's part of that. Think about this. Bill Maher said the exact opposite thing that Howard Stern said. He goes, I hate Trump, but I don't hate the people that voted for him. Howard Stern says, I don't hate Trump, but I hate the people that voted for him. Have the two careers gone two separate ways? Bill Maher, one of the more credible voices in media these days. Why? Because he's at least willing to say, I'll meet with Trump. I was wrong.
And he did.
Here's what's going on. And look at where his career has gone. Versus Howard Stern might be out of a job pretty soon.
It's such a great point because, it's easy to say, well, Howard Stern is 71 years old. Bill Maher is 69. It's not like Bill Maher is 55. And Bill Maher, some would say, has got an audience that's very confused because it's kind of like the right likes him one week, the left. So everybody is talking to the guy. And he'll get Sean Penn that'll come and say, I don't think there's any point to go meeting with the president. Says the guy that went and met with Castro. You think there's so he'll say stuff like that, and you got to love it. And I went to Trump. I'm not going to lie to you. He's funny. I liked it. I know you don't want to hear it. So, and Howard Stern with this business model, where it's going. The beautiful thing about capitalism is going to expose you, and if you don't show a way of being able to speak to both your audiences, you're going to get your ass handed to you. And that's happening right now to a lot of guys. Question now becomes, who's next? That's really the list. Who's next? What's the model going to be with Kimmel? What's the model going to be with Fallon? What's the model going to be? Did you notice the other day who Stephen Colbert brought to his show? Do you know who he brought to his show? The Republican, the conservative from The View who hates Trump.
Oh, the girl who's technically, she's technically she's a
But guess what? It's kind of like, oh, we see the stats that we don't bring any conservatives. Bring a safe conservative here, right?
Too late.
Yeah, you know what? Stephen Colbert, I dare you to do the following. Stephen Colbert, I dare you. Do you want to have your biggest show of the year? I dare you, Stephen Colbert, invite Tucker Carlson. Invite Charlie Kirk. Invite Trump.
Invite Trump.
No, not even. Forget Trump. I'm not even talking about Trump. He can't get Trump. Trump's not going to go on Colbert right now. I dare Stephen Colbert and the producers, if you're watching this, I dare you to test a Kirk. I dare you to test a, Tucker. I dare you to test any of the conservative guys that have a voice. I dare you to bring them on. I dare you to bring J.D. Vance on. I dare you to bring Howard Lutnick on. I dare you. You will not do it. You know why you will not do it? Because it's going to be your most viewed show of the year. And that's going to scare the shit out of you. Matter of fact, hey, who owns Stephen Colbert's show? Who is it? Is it CBS?
That's CBS, yes, sir.
CBS at the top. You really want to see if you're capitalist? Hey, capitalist, put your money where your mouth is. You call the shots. Call the producer and the booker and say, I want you to invite J.D. Vance. I want you to invite Charlie Kirk. I want you to invite Tucker Carlson. Even though right now we see what's going on the Republican side, they may not even be on the side. I want you to invite Megyn Kelly. I want you to invite some of these guys. See what happens to the show. You know why they're scared? CBS, you shouldn't be scared. Colbert shouldn't be able to say no to it. You should be able to say, we're paying you. These are the guests that are coming on. See what happens. You know why? Because if you're going to bring somebody else to replace Colbert, the audience is wanting to hear everybody. FYI, I don't want to show that they only bring Republicans. If Stephen Colbert only brought Republicans, that's a boring show. Bring me other people. But I want to see you bring both. And if you fight and you disagree, I don't care. I respect it. But as long as you bring them. However, what are the chances they're going to do that?
Very little.
Zero.
Very
little.
I would say zero.
They are so scared. They are so scared because they know the eyeballs will show up. They are so scared because they know to go viral. They are so scared because they know to go trending all over X. You are pansies. You won't do it. You're scared shitless. You are so scared. FYI, what if you guys choose to replace a Kimmel and a Fallon with somebody on the center right? What if you bring a funny person that's got a personality, that can push the envelope, that can challenge people, but they're center right, willing to talk to everybody? Sports, politics, movies, shows. Bring somebody late night. Put him there. Have him bring everybody. Bring 60% liberal guests. See what happens to your show. This model shouldn't fail. It is a failed model today, not because people don't want it. It is only a failed model because you said this to people on the complete opposite side, not because it doesn't work. People do want to sit there late night and hear somebody talk that's going to laugh their asses off. I still go and watch Johnny Carson from back in the days.
Yep.
I still watch Johnny Carson from back in the days. I am so sick of today's Fallon and Kimmel and Colbert that I go and watch 40 years ago from Carson when I was in Iran. I was never even here to watch Johnny Carson. I never lived in America under Johnny Carson. I lived here under the Letterman and the Leno days. I should go back and watch it. So it's not a failed model. It's only a failed model if you don't invite anybody from the other side. Let's go to the next story. NFL. Here's what NFL just decided to do. Let me go to the story on time. I'm coming to you with this one as well.
Ready.
ESPN Inc.'s deal with NFL to acquire NFL Network and Red Zone Channel, which has a lot of people talking. So what does this really mean? Okay, so ESPN, a Disney-owned sports media company, has reached a deal with NFL to acquire NFL Network and certain other media assets, including NFL's linear Red Zone Channel and NFL Fantasy, in exchange for 10% equity stake in ESPN. 10% equity in ESPN? Yes, 10% equity in ESPN. Rob, go ahead and play this clip on a reaction on this decision.
The NFL has had essentially a struggling media property in NFL Network. It's never become what they thought it was going to be. They created Thursday Night Football as a way to prop up NFL Network. It debuted in 2006 as a back half of the season Thursday night package to give NFL Network something that would make cable providers want it. It still never really took off. And they've been trying for years to unload it, Dan. I mean, like 10 years they've been trying to get rid of this, and they've tied it to different things. NBC was in the conversation at one point, and now they get 10% equity in ESPN for these failing properties. And yeah, I don't know that the consumer was the main reason for this. And now the question becomes, how do we make this seamless for the consumer? You know, for example, ESPN did a deal as part of this to continue to televise the draft for the next 5 years. Well, when you turn on NFL Network for the draft, are you going to see Rich Eisen now? Or are you going to see Mike Greenberg? Who's it going to be? And I think it's important for them to keep things normal.
Very interesting point.
From the perspective of the consumer, because I think most people are afraid, number one, things are going to change, and number two, we're going to get screwed. I just think that's the natural reaction to this news, that these two behemoths have come together.
Tom.
So Mike Florio has hit something on the head. Where is Red Zone and NFL Fantasy? And by the way, it's interesting. These have been out there for 10 years, and they have been like the short clips of the NFL. If you tuned in, NFL Fantasy would quickly take you through wide receivers and quarterbacks and plays scored. Oh, Chase, 22-yard pass. 2 points for Chase on fantasy, NFL Fantasy, and they bounced around. And then Red Zone was really great because Andrew Siciliano, the guy with the big ears, really knowledgeable guy, fun guy to watch, a really great commentator, a lot of respect. I loved watching him because you could sit there, if the Raiders really stunk and you were a Raider fan like me, you would sit there and tune into Red Zone. So every time somebody's across the 20-yard line, boom, you get to watch scoring plays or the drive stalling or whatever it is. So this was a short clip that I think was before its time, because now we know how powerful short clips are to the podcast and the media world. Well, now let's talk about exclusivity. ESPN is now getting an asset. Remember, the NFL bet on exclusivity when they did the DirecTV deal back at the dawn of DirecTV in 1994. I was there. I was part of a company that made components for DirecTV, for the outdoor dish. And what was very interesting there, everybody said, what are they doing? DirecTV was getting sales just on Green Bay Packer fans that lived in New Orleans, just on Raider fans that lived in Florida or Dallas, like me. And so that really worked. That exclusivity worked. Now ESPN says, listen, cable is dying, and I'm having trouble getting take rate on my channels.
But Tom, this is a desperate deal, though. This is not like if I'm an outsider wanting to compete, Rob, you okay with posting that guy's picture up? We know who he is. But every time you post this picture, it's like, nice. No, the audience needs to see what we just looked at. You can't do that.
On those ears?
It wasn't a nude photo. It's the goat.
He uses 9 Q-tips.
But let me go back to this. So when I look at a deal like this from an outsider, all I see is just desperation. I see worry. I see what's going to be happening. I see it. Let's try to find a way to protect ourselves. Giving up 10%, Tom.
That's a lot.
Both of them are desperate. The NFL wanted to get it off cable and satellite because cable and satellite are dying. Dish Network, where's Dish Network? Yeah. DirecTV, where's DirecTV?
Who won here, though? Who won here? I
believe the NFL won here because they were able to get the assets that they were having trouble getting viewership on cable and satellite. They get 10% of ESPN, but ESPN was equally desperate. They've been cutting salaries of commentators. They've been trying to hone their message. And they've been, look at all the big contracts that they've been doing for sports, like college conferences, and the big contracts they're not doing for commentators. Look at all the retired jocks. How many retired jocks have we seen not renewed on ESPN? A ton of them. Stephen A is the exception contract. They did the Stephen A contract. However, everybody else are trying to reduce the cost of the commentators and spend big on the sports property. And this is ESPN saying, I will take this for NFL that gives me another something to show the viewer, and I'll give up 10% of ESPN. That shows you how desperate ESPN is for content. So the NFL won, and something, I love that word, Pat. Both sides were desperate, but the NFL won.
Yeah, and to me, so did ESPN give 10% to the NFL?
Yeah, NFL
Rob,
now
can
has
you-
10%
okay,
of
so-
your
That worth.
This isn't okay. So it looks like you might be referencing to the recent deal, but to clarify, this isn't a 10% financial return like dividends or investment yields. Instead, it's just about ownership exchange. The NFL entered into an agreement to acquire 10% equity in ESPN, meaning they now own 10% in exchange for media assets. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm very uncomfortable with. I'm very uncomfortable with the government owning 20% of CNN. I'm very uncomfortable if the government bought 20% of Fox. I'm very uncomfortable with anything owning a percentage of a company that's going to be forced to say good things about them when it comes down to an institution, because NFL is essentially a form of a government, for the sport. They own the NFL. So I just looked up right now, what assets does NFL own? Rob, if you can ask this question, what companies does the NFL own? They own NFL Films, NFL Network, NFL.com, NFL Mobile, Red Zone, NFL Plus, NFL Films, all these things that they own, NFL Ventures, right? And now you own ESPN 10%. Isn't that an arm and a way where ESPN can no longer do a negative story on concussions? Isn't that I actually don't like the deal. It makes me feel very uncomfortable because the ESPN officially is not going to be criticizing the NFL because it's a product of theirs. I am very uncomfortable with the NFL owning 10% of ESPN. I'm just extremely uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable with an owner owning it because still the regulatory arm would be who? The NFL coming in and saying, hey, you can't just say good things about the Washington Redskins. I'm still going to call them Redskins. You can't say anything good about the Miami Dolphins. You can't, hey, why are you doing that? No, you can't do that. You can't. So, but NFL owns 10% of ESPN. I am super uncomfortable with it.
I think you've hit something there because I'll take you to some reality. ESPN ended up with, through ABC, Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And when they said things that were a little off, they got hit for it. They absolutely got hit for it, and they got pulled back. Hey, if you're going to do this, you can't do that. Lay off the refs. Remember, the refs work for the NFL. Oh, the refs are terrible. This sucks. The NFL's not even ensuring that its games are fair because the refs are so bad. Joe Burrow got screwed on that. They're like, hey, can you knock that off, please? That's already been happening. This takes that up a notch. And I also think ESPN Plus and Disney Plus are the streaming side of it. I bet you watch. There's going to be an NFL package only available on ESPN Plus, and they're going to attach part of ESPN Plus to Hulu, so you have to buy Hulu and ESPN Plus. There's also a corporate side of it there. So you're absolutely correct. The reporting side of ESPN suddenly has to fall in line behind the storylines of the NFL.
I don't at all like it. I don't at all want the NFL owning the ESPN.
So let me ask you a question. So if the NFL owns 10% of ESPN and the NFL, let's just say, is like, listen, we're going to go with this woke, kneeling for the anthem, and racism and all that stuff. You guys have to talk positive about it? Hell no.
Yes.
Hell
no. You know
no.
why? Why would you say anything negative?
That's what I'm saying.
Why would you say anything negative? You own
Nope.
So it's kind of like, you know how what is the whole thing that AOC is trying to get the insider trading with Nancy Pelosi and all these other guys that both of them are doing it?
Yeah.
Last year, Pelosi made 78% return or whatever the number was documented.
She's killing it.
Net worth between $200 million to $430 million that we keep reading about. Why are you uncomfortable with that? Because the U.S. government has access to certain information that other people don't. So they're going to protect it. I'm not comfortable with the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, the NHL owning a percentage of a massive network like ESPN. It's the biggest arm for sports. Criticism is gone. Jeez. So there is no more criticizing because you can't. What are you going to criticize? The element of criticizing this, that's your job. That's the company that owns you. I don't think it's good for the market. Adam, real quick before we go to the next story.
Well, as much as you don't like it, I see this being part of the cultural narrative. America is obsessed with football. So remember, baseball was America's pastime. It's in the past. By far and away, football is the most watched sport. It's not even close. And by the way, if you look at the schedule, Thursday night is college football, Friday night is more college football, Saturday more college, Sunday NFL, Sunday night NFL, Monday NFL,
Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, you get enough. Thursday, you're starting again. By the way, starting Friday Night Lights, all of a sudden fantasy football, it will take over your life.
That's not the
just
point.
Just pigskin. No, my point is this. The business model is that they're shoving this down our throat because why? Follow the money. I'm not shocked that they're cutting these side deals to basically engage in more football. If you look at the names of who's running these deals, Bob Iger, Disney, ESPN, NFL Red Zone, 10% equity stake. It's just money, 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 money.
You missed my entire point.
No, I got your point.
You missed my entire point. My point is, and by the way, if I'm NFL and the government body allows me to buy ESPN, I'm buying into ESPN. What do you like? Good. This is a victory for NFL. That's good for them. It's like, the U.S. government just bought CNN. The U.S. government just bought CNN and Fox. Okay, good.
Congrats.
Hey, listen, you better or else. Yeah, I get it. Well, what would the other way, Tommy Lauren on the podcast, right? When I asked the question about Epstein letter and
nothing,
I can't comment on that. Of course you can.
Okay.
Hey, you want to comment on concussions? I can't comment on that. Why? Because the NFL owns 10% of us, and we're not going to hear about that, and we're not going to get better at that. Nah, there's a part of me that's very uncomfortable.
It's control. Is what it comes down to.
Especially of the body. I'm more comfortable owners owning it because the body, which is the NFL, can regulate it. I'm not comfortable with the body, NFL owning 10%. I'm not. There has to be a form of where the NFL is a government, is a body. I understand it's a business, but it's a body. It's a very different way to view it than the rest. Tom?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this has happened before, and there's been uproars. In 1994, a commentator named Gary McCord was covering the Masters, and he was on, I think, the 17th green, and he said, wow, these greens are so smooth and so fast, it's like they bikini waxed them. And he said, and there's body bags behind the 17th green for some of these players. What he meant was the greens were so slick, and he meant was some of these players have such trouble on the 17th green that it ruins around and you end up in a body bag. Hey, the 17th hole really killed that guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what Augusta said? They called CBS that night and said, take that guy off the air.
Jeez.
He is disrespecting the prestige of Augusta. There wasn't disrespecting it. He was making a comment, and it was playful, and it was interesting in the stodginess
I have
old
a problem
golf.
with that. I have a problem with that.
And they did it. They did it, and there was an uproar, and it kind of backfired against Augusta because all of us at home said, you called the network that gave you millions and millions of dollars to broadcast your tournament, and he was making it interesting and making a point that anyone that's ever held a golf club would understand, even an amateur. That, guess what? This goes up on steroids when you add ownership to it.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, good point. Let's go to the next one. Trump threatens to federalize D.C. After attack on Doge staffer. This is a Guardian story. So he is threatening to strip its local governors, citing rampant youth crime after an alleged assault on Edward Correstein, a 19-year-old former staffer of the Department of Government Efficiencies who was severely beaten to the point of concussion while defending a woman from assault near DuPont Circle, crime in D.C. And here's what he's talking about. A Trump threats to federalize, backed by Elon Musk, the assault on Doge team members. We're going to see what's going to happen here. And in 2000 at Lafayette Square, though fully suspending D.C.'s home rule established in 1973 would likely require congressional legislation. And we'll see if that'll happen or not. Rob, is that a tweet of his?
I have a tweet and video.
So let's watch the video, and then I'll read the tweet. Go for it.
By the way, I have to say that somebody from Doge was very badly hurt last night. You saw that. A young man who was beat up by a bunch of thugs in D.C. And either they're going to straighten their act out in terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
Can you go to this tweet, Rob, and we'll break this down. So crime in D.C. is out of control. Local youth gang members, some only 14, 15, 16-year-olds, are randomly attacking, mugging and miming and shooting innocent citizens at the same time, knowing that they will be almost immediately released. They are not afraid of law enforcement because they know nothing ever happens to them, but it's going to happen now. The law in D.C. must be changed to prosecute these minors as adults and lock them up for a long time, starting at the age of 14. The most recent victim was beaten mercilessly by local thugs. D.C. must be safe, clean, and beautiful for all Americans, and importantly for the world to see. If D.C. doesn't get its act together and quickly, we'll have no choice. And then he goes into the messaging there. So now, Tom, what does it mean to federalize? Does that mean the government now starts controlling it over? By the way, is that Elon tweeting?
Yes, he tweeted to Trump's tweet.
Okay, so a few days ago, a gang of about a dozen young men tried to assault a woman in her car at night in D.C. A Doge team member saw that was happening, ran to defend her, and was severely beaten to the point of concussion, but he saved her. It is time to federalize D.C. So they're on the same page together on this thing here. What does this mean, Tom, and who's going to be against it?
Okay, federalizing, so D.C. is a city. Cities normally are part of counties, And counties are part of states. So you usually have a governor, county laws, like sheriffs, and then the city.
Is that the kid, by the way, Rob?
Yes, sir.
That's
Can
him.
you zoom? Is that the? So that's the kid after protecting the lady.
Yep.
That's what they did to him.
Yep.
Are you serious?
That's serious.
So can we find out about this 19-year-old kid?
He's the Doge guy, the big, you know what?
I know. I want to know
Yeah.
who he is. Can you pull up his name and just go? Is this Edward Big Balls Korenstein?
yes.
This is the guy.
That's him.
Great
So
name.
Edward. Yeah. Let's see who he is.
That's him.
But I want to know who he is. Like, I actually want to read who is this guy. Okay. So he was known as Online Allies Big Balls. Is an American college student programmer formerly appointed by Doge and made a permanent federal employee with the title of senior advisor to the highest paid grade GS-15 in the General Services Administration at the end of May 2025. He was resigned weeks later in June before taking a job with Social Security Administration. Born, there was a father, was a CEO of Lesser Evil. The maternal grandfather, Valerie, was a KGB lieutenant colonel executed by Soviet Union as a double agent. After his execution, his widow moved for her children in the United States. According to LinkedIn resume, Corson graduated from Rye Country and attends Norton University. He enrolled in Norton University Mechanical Engineering. He expected your graduation. School friends described him as intelligent and driven, while Elon Musk being a hero. Corson is a registered Republican. Interesting. So, Tom, this guy gets beat up. That picture is tough to watch, by the way, with what happened to him. So good for him for being a hero. So, Tom, who would be against it? Who doesn't want this thing to happen?
The Democrats aren't going to want federalization. So all federalization means is that the city of Washington, D.C. is not under any state. It's in the District of Columbia, which means it does not have a state mechanism around it. Let's say there is a failure of a city in Florida. Let's use a fictitious example. The mayor of Fort Myers and the surrounding area has his family and his home washed out by a hurricane. The mayor can't perform, needs help. Governor DeSantis is down there with the Florida resources to help the mayor. Make sense? Mm-hmm. The state helps the city governs the city with police. City police can't get the job done. County sheriff in the county come out to assist. D.C. is just a city, but it's a failed city that doesn't have second-level control. Federalization would mean that the federal government would act as the state, like the DeSantis helping a city that's been hit by a hurricane or civil unrest. That's what they're talking about. Now, the Democrats are going to say, no. Leave them be, because they use D.C. The Democrats use D.C. for its little electoral vote. They use D.C., and it's never been anything but blue, and the poverty and everything that's there is horrible. How's that working out for you, citizens of D.C.? How's that working out? But the Dems are going to be against it because they'd rather have victims at the voting booth than actually move things forward and have people look around and maybe move toward independent status. Pat, those are the people that don't want it. But D.C. clearly needs something like a state to help govern it, and that's what federalization would do, because D.C. is not in a state. It's just a District of Columbia and a city.
Penny, what do you think about that?
And Adam always say, you say follow the money. Who's the mayor? Let's follow who's the mayor? Muriel Bowser. Okay, she's been there since 2015, and we always talk about people that are voting these people in and doing all that. Said there's 3 terms that have been happening with her. Okay, the city's got more dangerous, more expensive, and more out of touch. And just a little background history on her.
Oh my God.
She backed the criminal code to overhaul / penalties for violent crimes. So she lowered sentences for carjacking, robberies, and gun crimes. Number 1, she pushed to defund the police. A mayor of a city was pushing to defund the police in 2020. She supported soft on crime prosecutors, okay, and all this stuff. It's not like D.C. got bad overnight. I'm not pulling all on her, but it's policies like hers that rot from the inside. And again, keep voting for these people, and you're going to keep getting it. So I'm pro-Trump doing what he's going to do. Like, enough is enough.
This lady won against Vincent Gray, Democratic primary, and he was the incumbent. Mm-hmm. And won the general election against 3 independent and 2 minor candidates with 55% of the vote. In 2018, that was in 14. 2018, she won her second term with 76.4% of the vote. In 2022, on her third term, she won 74.6% of the vote, Vinny. Yeah. 74 point. Go a little bit lower up on that to see what it says on the bottom. Youngest of 6 children. Her father was a D.C.-based public advocate who worked for a public servant and employed in D.C. area. Born in D.C., grew up in North Michigan. Very interesting. What school did she go to? Can we see what school she went to? Something university. She went to Chatham University, Chatham College in Pittsburgh. Adam, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think Trump should follow through with federalizing D.C. So, we're all in America, we understand what a monopoly is. And antitrust laws are put in place to prevent companies from dominating industries. We always hear that Amazon is dominating the industry, Microsoft, Apple dominating the industry. What about politically? What about ideologically? Has D.C. ever had a conservative Republican mayor? Ever? A lot of these cities out there, they're ideologically dominated by one party. And we wonder why D.C., L.A.,
Philly,
San Francisco, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Chicago, the list goes on and on and on, don't improve. And I used to always advocate, these are the best cities in America, biggest cities in America. But there's a big difference between the biggest and the best. Washington, D.C., I love D.C., but D.C. is a city of complete paradox and contrasts. It's basically suits by day and sirens by night. Mm-hmm. You're just walking around. You love it. It's history on every corner. As soon as night falls, it's like run for shelter. You don't know what's coming around the next corner. Hide your kids, hide your wives.
Yep.
It is the most American city. Flags everywhere. Patriotism everywhere. But then it's also the most liberal city. The most liberal cities in the country, by far and away, Washington, D.C., San Francisco, Berkeley area, and then Boston, Cambridge. It's the elite Ivory Coast university cities that basically have zero tolerance for an ideological difference. So the monopoly that they have on D.C., I'd love to see it come to an end.
Mm-hmm. I've never understood the voters. Marion Barry was elected mayor. Then he ends up in
doing
jail,
crack
in jail. That's right, crack and
with Hunter Biden,
and allegedly also using city funds allegedly to pay for hookers, making him known as the Beducation president.
Yes,
I mean the Beducation mayor.
Great name.
And then his campaign slogan was, "I will get the drugs off the street and into my nose." So it's like, and then after he goes to jail, the people reelected him. It's like, what are you doing? It's just name recognition and looking back to that. So there is also this thing. It's like you get what you vote for, and then they all look back and say, now you've had 2 generations of failed schools, poverty, and all the problems go with it. How's it working out for you? When are the voters going to wake up?
Yeah. So,
by the way, with this whole conversation started with the kid that got beat up from Doge, and Elon Musk kind of weighed in.
Sirens at night, as you said.
Sirens at night. I mean, this is very common. By the way, did you see the stats about Elon Musk's favorability?
Yeah.
Have you seen these numbers?
We're going to get to that.
Okay, gotcha.
We're going to get to that. We'll get to that story. So where I want to go to after this on DC is the following. Vinny tells me a video about 3 kids in Dallas at a Walgreens. Okay, Vinny, you want to tell us what happened?
I
haven't seen this clip at all.
Okay, so there's 3 kids. They're robbing, stealing from a Walgreens in Dallas. They get locked inside. Okay, and instead of being scared, embarrassed, I'm going to show you the attitude of them screaming, clowning the robbers, and threatening to attack them, okay? And then you got and I'm as a parent, you guys are parents. Rob, please tell me how you would feel, and I'm going to get into what I think the parents and all that stuff, but they just got caught, and they're locking them inside of Walgreens.
Go for it.
You got like 10 seconds to open up this door. I swear to God, I'm gonna break this door.
What are you saying?
I'm going to break the door. 10 seconds.
I'll call
him downstairs. That's it.
Bitch, I been knew how to count, ho. Show 4 out of that. Dad do that.
You can open the door.
I'm gonna open up this door because I'm not playing. All I fucking know is y'all better open it. I'm not playing.
You know how to count. You have hands. Open the door.
Open up this door before we break this bitch.
Look at that, dude.
I'm gonna break some up in this bitch. I'm God. I'm gonna. You are.
Look, he wants to go hit her.
I would like that fight with y'all. Do not play with me. Do not.
No kid is born this way.
No, hell no.
That's great. These kids
No
were made.
kid is born this way.
Yup. Look at that.
I will trash this all.
I'm closed. All right, we're sorry.
Who talks like that?
Here's my question.
Is that the only clip?
No,
Rob?
there's go ahead, Rob. This is them afterwards with the sister. She's going online because she's like, people are talking crap about them. Let me post a video which doesn't help the case at all. Rob, play this one. This is the sister.
She make more money than you. She got her own house. She pay her own bills. She got more shit than you. You broke. You ain't getting no more shit. And that was not food inside that bag. That was snacks and toys.
And if it was, yeah, that's what y'all like the fuck.
Matter of fact, everybody steal. Matter of fact,
everybody steals.
Everybody that knows know y'all got food.
Y'all grown people.
And by the way, she posts multiple videos of this. By the way, this drove me crazy. Because, okay, I'm just going to assume who was outside waiting for them to drive them away. It wasn't the sister, maybe the mom, if she's still in the picture.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I had to assume, like you guys nailed it. How the hell do you get to that? How do we get to that behavior? Okay,
You're taught.
You're taught.
You're taught.
Where's the father?
And you watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume there's no father in the picture. Okay, this is an exact result of tearing down the nuclear family that we talked about last week and pretending it doesn't matter. That type of attitude. And then this will boil over into that situation where that guy that we saw that got pulled over, Pat, they got pulled over, and that attitude, that resentment, that entire, man, close the door, close the window, smash in the window, not listening to the police. What do you think these kids are going to turn into?
I'm cooperating. I'm cooperating. No, you're not. You're just sitting there with your hands up in a dash cam.
Yeah, with this attitude, what are these poor kids? And I feel bad for them. What are they going to turn into? What are they going to turn into? It's that culture that's happening right now that's out of freaking control. And if you say anything, you should see all the hate I got on Instagram because of the freaking guy that was pulled over and wasn't listening to the cops. Man, you don't know nothing. You racist. Wait till I see you. It's like, okay, whatever. What are those kids? What's the future
show
of
you
those
something.
kids?
Going to turn into? They're
They could
already
turn into
80% of the way there.
I want to show you something. I found this video a couple weeks ago. This is in 1986. You're talking 40 years ago, okay? They're interviewing a bunch of single mothers, okay? And look how they're speaking. Go ahead, Rob.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility, and then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home.
There you go.
No, it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
Wow.
Though you would not have heard such things said so freely because they were not embraced so widely. The strong family was still the backbone of Black America, and 3 out of 4 children had both parents at home. That is true no longer. Most Black children are now growing up without their fathers. The result is a world turned upside down as children copy what they see and repeat what they learn. LaDawn said she didn't have a father in her home and doesn't think her children need one. She's not unusual. Half the Black families today are headed only by a woman.
That's
Lorinda said she
86.
could make it on her own as a single parent. She has never been married and is raising her daughter without a man's help. She's not unusual. Today, nearly 60% of all Black children are born out of wedlock.
Unbelievable. That's 86, and it's not gotten better. So now what do you do? So the same people they voted for came up with these policies that destroyed the incredibly conservative, strong, disciplined African-American families that wore suits and ties, the way they dressed. Hey, boy, stand up, carry yourself. I remember I met some of them when I was in the military, some of these, folks I would meet, the level of discipline. Now you hear some of the stories, because for every story like this you hear, you also hear stories about, who the CEO of Lowe's is. Go to the CEO of Lowe's. Lowe's CEO is a man named Marvin Ellison, okay? He's been with them now for 6 or 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. This is a Fortune 100 company ran by Marvin Ellison. Do you know who his brother is? Can you type in who Marvin Ellison's brother is?
I assume it's not Larry Ellison.
No, it's not Larry Ellison, but Marvin Ellison's brother, you would know who he is. Marvin Ellison's brother is somebody, not this one, they have a couple of them.
Oh, Keith Ellison?
We had him on the podcast, if you remember.
Keith Ellison?
Not Keith Ellison. We had, is it Vincent? Can you type in, Rob, if I'm not Vince Ellison? Yes. Do you guys remember when we had him on the podcast?
Oh, on election night?
Election night,
He's
yes.
incredible.
That's his brother.
Get outta
Guys,
here.
what I'm trying to
Talk
tell
about
you.
good parenting.
And by the way, they were raised by incredible parents.
Yes, he's awesome.
Incredible parents.
Fact.
Right values. You see where one of them is at the top. Fortune 100 CEO of a company since 2018. So this is the stark difference between the two. But when you come up with bad policies, you're like, well, Planned Parenthood. So what we got? So it's unfair. Freedom of choice. Oh, really? The whole purpose of Planned Parenthood was to eliminate African Americans. That's what the founder wanted. She wasn't there because she was so sentimental about the African American community. What percentage of abortions do you think happens from that? What percentage of abortions that Planned Parenthood does is African Americans? What is the number?
Over 40%.
Over 40%, guys.
Yep.
Over 40%.
Population's never been over 60.
Yes. Then what do you do?
Over
add
40%
hip-hop,
of the customers.
add drugs, add taking entitlement value, add giving money for having kids out of wedlock, add all this stuff. And then what do? You destroy an entire community of people who are being raised by them. I'm not saying everybody. Look at that number right there. Non-Hispanic black women, 41% of the abortions.
Yeah, and they're only 7% of the country.
They're not African Americans. You mean 14. The women?
African American women, 13% of the country. Exactly.
Yes.
Meaning it's
I know.
Outkicking their coverage.
I understand. But 41.5% of all the abortions is by black women. Then it's white women. Then it's Hispanic women. Then it's all the other races. How did we get here? How did this happen? Yeah, and these videos that you see with kids talk like that. I'm like, wait, last night I'm talking to Luke and Preston, right? Two boys coming up to me, how respectful they are, right? And you see these guys that are playing baseball, parents, incredible people, the Gaitans. And then you have Chris and Vecina Hart. I see their kids.
Mm-hmm.
CJ, who's a boxer. They see crossing the stage. You're on the stage on all the stuff that they're saying. Man, I mean, this is a very different way of raising, and this is a real issue. So when you show me clips like this, and I'm like, well, it's racist, it's this, it's that. No, it's called a representation. I'm Armenian. Go to Glendale. In Glendale, look how much medical fraud you'll hear on the insurance side with Armenians. Some of it is right, of what happened. How many people took advantage of it? It's true. Those stereotypes come because some of it is true. You go look at folks that are, terrorists, blowing things up. What are they? Are they Mormons? Are they Jews? Are they Christians? What are they when you hear that phrase? Muslim extremist. These stereotypes that you go and look, like, hey, man, pull your pants up. Walk up straight. Talk. Stop using the slang words. It's not the kids' fault. That's how you heard everybody talk. Gangster rap, when you listen to, you speak a certain language, who become your heroes. So to me, when I see videos like that, Vinny, it's very disturbing. Because it's not the kids' fault, man. It's the parents. The parents did that. They learned that from somebody. Mm-hmm. That's a learned habit.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to piggyback, and then because you said how and why, like to me, and please tell me if you're kind of following me. It's as if the government, that's the plan. They want to remove the father. That's why they always push this single. You could do it, girl, do it by yourself. They create confusion, okay, and then the state steps in as your daddy. So then they go to school. They learn, the school, the media, and the government. They become the authority, and that's how you build a society that listens to the politicians instead of listening to their own blood. I
appreciate you use the word society because there's two things that have absolutely destroyed the African-American community. Now, they will read, I'm going to first go to something. They will read talking points. Oh, it was, companies pulled money out of Cleveland, pulled money out of Pittsburgh, out of downtown, and it left no jobs. No, the Great Society under Lyndon Johnson and Planned Parenthood are the two greatest impacts on the African-American community that was assimilating, getting through civil rights chapter of America, and moving forward, as Pat pointed out, dressed in suits, going to church. They were very respectful with everybody. People were respectful with them. And those two things, the Great Society under Lyndon Johnson, which was a lie below the surface, and Planned Parenthood have taken it here. Everything else that we're seeing downstream is now an artifact of that, but they're responsible to it. It may not be your fault, but it is your reality, is what every person has to face. Look at Gabe, a man I love and respect. It wasn't his fault that the country and the government was shifting in Iran, but it was his reality, and he had to go do something and make hard choices and get himself out of it because he said, I'm not going to continue here. All of us have faced that, some deeper than others, but what you're talking about is exactly right. It's exactly right.
I want to go to the next story here. Elon Musk. Story comes out, and Adam, I'm coming to you first on this one. Elon Musk is officially the most unpopular public figure in America. Okay, if you want to go to it, Rob, on do you have a video on that or no?
I do.
I think you have a video on that. Let me read the story, and then we'll go to the video. So Elon Musk, richest man in the world, A Gallup poll conducted between July 7th and July 21st found that Tesla CEO Elon Musk is the most unpopular public figure in America, with 61% of respondents holding an unfavorable opinion, 6% having no opinion, and only 33% reporting a positive view, marking a decline from his net favorability rating of -4% in January and -28% now. Damn, that's a plus-minus of 24. Musk's unpopularity surpasses even Israel's Prime Minister Benton. Wow. He's ahead of Netanyahu? Where do you see that?
Right down here at the bottom.
And Marco Rubio is ahead of Trump?
Jeez.
How?
What the heck is
Then, as
that?
Pete Heck said, Newsom, J.D. Vance, Joe Biden, RFK, AOC, Macron, Bernie, Zelensky, Pope, Leo. Very interesting when you see a list like this. And then some Prime Minister on the other Democrats giving him a minus 86 net favorability to return to alignment with President Trump. His role as a special government employee heading Doge. So, Adam, why do you think his net favorability is worse than Bibi, than Rubio, than Trump?
Well, be careful when you get into politics. Elon Musk, a few short years ago, he went from being Iron Man to basically being internet troll to politically disobedient to basically out of the White House. Elon Musk was the darling of the left. Think about what he's built. EVs, green, technology, Silicon Valley. He moved out of California into Dallas, got into the political limelight. Okay, Austin, I apologize. Moved into political limelight, combined with Trump, dark MAGA, and these are the ramifications of basically getting involved in politics. You say, Pat, you always talk about, no matter what you do, no matter business what you're in politics. Yes. Behind the scenes, you're in politics. When you step into the limelight and you're involved in politics and you make an endorsement like this, you know who the most vicious people are? The hardcore left. They're the most unforgiving, cancel culture. If you do them wrong, they will never forgive you.
Yeah, don't step out of line.
Exactly. The hardcore right, they might say they disagree with you, they want nothing to do with you, but they're not going to just be trolling you all day. Elon Musk, have you heard of anything from Elon in the last month?
He's talking about rockets.
He's
Only
been
rockets and Mars.
Incredibly quiet politically, and he's been focused on business. In my opinion, I think stakeholders, shareholders, board of directors, they're all saying, listen, guy, you're the richest man in the world. Do you want to stay the richest man in the world? Do you want your companies to be the richest companies in the world? Get out of politics. So Elon is now facing the music 2-1. 2-1 is unfavorability ratings, meaning 2 people hate him for every 1 person that likes him. That's not a good look for Elon.
But at the end of the day, though, you have to admit, though, that this guy played a huge role in getting this guy, Donald Trump, into the White House. Okay,
$250 million.
Dude, that's not, by the way, that is not chump change, Adam. That's ridiculous, bro.
Listen,
so when you
$100 million is
whatever.
Used to be,
Yeah, exactly. But my point is, like, I can understand why. How do you get to that level? Okay, everybody was loving him except obviously the left because they got in Hitler. You know what I mean? Trump was Hitler, and then they just went after him. Any movement that he did, they're like, oh, that's a Nazi salute. That's that. So you can see it's manufactured, but the same token, when you give $250 million and you help somebody get in, then that person gets in, Adam, and doesn't do what you say, and then you get into a fight allegedly in the White House, you get punched in the face and you have a black eye, and the fallout is that guy who's the most popular president, I think, in the history of the world, of America. That guy turns on you, of course it's going to look bad for you. Bro, they made Teslas, for how many months were Teslas getting firebombed and
Cybertrucks.
Cybertrucks.
Still happening, by the way.
It's still happening because they made everybody hate this guy. And love him or hate him, bro, this guy saved us from a Kamala, Joe Biden, whatever the hell you want to talk about it. Say what you want. They want to hate him. Do not forget, this guy put his money where his mouth is and saved us. For that moment in history, that guy saved us.
Also allowed freedom of speech on Twitter.
Dude, so I can't. I don't understand how could he be hated more than some of these others' names that Pat
Tom, where are
listed.
you at?
Well, in politics, no good deed will go unpunished. And he certainly was huge in the election helping. The Dems already hated him.
Of course.
The Dems already hated him. They were, and Doge and everything about it, they were already all over Tesla. But then what happened? So now let's go to the poll. What's in the poll? Words talk, numbers scream. Screw the headlines. Let's dive into the numbers. You are already going to have a big negative polling difference, on the people that disapprove versus approve. You're being negative with the Dems. And then when you go up against Trump, what happened with 1/3 to 1/2 of the Republican voters?
Yep.
They went negative.
Exactly.
And so guess what? 2 negative, and then 1 negative is 3 negative, and congratulations, you have a minus 28. The numbers are very simple. He went up against the hero of most of the Republican parties who wanted him in the White House, who wanted the change. This is what I voted for, including this man. That's what I was saying in April. I didn't give a very good grade based on execution, but I said, this is what I voted for. Closed borders, what I voted for. Driving international trade and being not America only, but America first. That's what I voted for. Was it messy? Yes. And guess what? Elon went up against some of that.
Yeah.
And so now the numbers show that he's highly negative.
Yeah. So to me, I think there's a complete different side of it as well when you're going through this. By the way, just so you know, if you're on this list, at least you're on this list. Yeah. Period. Okay? So, folks, your name's not on this list for a reason. Most people's names are not on this list for a reason. This list also says influence. If you're on this list, loved or hated, favorable or unfavorable, the one score that they're not putting, it's also saying that these are some of the most influential people in the world. That's also what this says. This is influence. That comes with it. You're going to fumble, you're going to screw up, you're going to go through your mistakes. At times, you can also go through a certain thing. Remember, lost, Elon found, got a cause, he committed, lifestyle, graduate lifestyle. Then it's
too much.
No, it's me.
Hockey
I'm just saying we all, so then maybe you think you're bigger than Trump and you're not. And the market said, look, you're very important. Very. Maybe he doesn't win without you. I would say that. He played a very important role. It definitely doesn't happen if he doesn't buy X. Because if he doesn't buy X and doesn't bring back Alex Jones, the Tates, the bunch of other people who are loud, who are finally back on X, they got their voice back, and it's still being ran by the old guy, not Dorsey, the other Indian guy. I don't remember his name, but you know who I'm talking about. And there's still Twitter files going on. And then Facebook's forced to open up Trump. Instagram opens up Trump. YouTube no longer flags a lot of the stuff that we're saying. That doesn't happen without Elon.
I agree.
Very, very. The day Elon was buying Twitter, I called every single bank to try to give $10 million to go in because I'm in on this guy being a great operator. And I don't even remember, you guys, I talked about it on the podcast, October of 2022. I'm calling everybody, if you know, I want to give you $10 million. And the only person that was doing it was Kathy. What was the girl's name?
Kathy Wood from ARC.
Kathy Wood from ARC. The way you were buying it was very weird, and I didn't want to get involved in that. So I'm a supporter and a believer in what he's doing as an operator. But at the same time, one man took bullets and almost died. And one man at the age of 79 years old campaigned nonstop after going through everything that he went through since 2016 when Elon didn't support him. When Elon did say a lot of different things. And he fought, and they finally flipped. So it's very important to realize today it's his season. We're backstage yesterday with Suazo, Ellis, and Okafor and Hart. And I'm like, so what do you think about the event? He says, I believe this is we're back. I said, we're back to what? He says, this reminds me of 2019 when the late Kobe was there and, Bush and all this other stuff. I said, who was number one in 2019? They start giving me the names. I said, who are the top 5 today? Not them. I said, what happened? It's not their show today. It's your show today, right? They were hosting the event last night in front of everybody. Today, it's Trump's show, not yours. It doesn't mean it's going to be Trump's show in 2028, but today's Trump's show. It doesn't mean that Trump's going to be more influential in 2029 than Elon. Elon could be more influential than Elon and than Trump in 2029. But today, it's not your term and turn. It's not. Rubio understood that. JD is understanding that. DeSantis absolutely didn't understand that because he crushed it at the best state thinking he's bigger than Trump. And he was destroyed. Destroyed. Where he people are like, dude, I don't like the way you're handling yourself. Floridians love the guy, but at the national level, no. So sometimes when you're in your own community and people tell you how amazing you are, you start thinking you're bigger than, you're not. Trump is the alpha amongst alphas today. He won't be forever, but it's his season today. And I'm not surprised that his unfavorability is here, although I don't think it's going to stay there forever, because when he made the tweet about he's on the Epstein list, Trump, wait till this gets dropped, Trump was asked about Elon. And, Rob, do you have the clip of Trump's being asked about Elon?
This is it.
And he says, so what do you think about Elon Musk and what happened here? Look at the graceful answer that Trump gives. Go for it.
Yeah, please.
A new Gallup poll says that Elon Musk is the most unpopular public figure in the country right now. I'm wondering, do you miss having him around the White House, or is that poll accurate?
I don't know if the poll's accurate. I think he's a good person. I think he had a bad moment, really bad moment. But he's a good person. I believe that.
That is such a what we're used to Trump answer. Think about how much more improved and how measured, to use the word grace, Trump is. The old Trump would have been like, loser, get him out of here, get out of here, little rocket boy. You got to give Trump a little respect for the way he is handling this situation.
This situation.
Musk said that he was on the Epstein list, gave a peace sign, walked out the door, and Trump has the grace
in the
to say,
history of mankind.
Yes.
There has never been a more battle-tested politically with limelight than him. I'm not talking war.
Yeah.
You could say Patton. You could say Mattis. You could say a lot of
You're
different
saying
guys.
limelight.
When it comes down
Media
to a
savvy.
limelight in the history of mankind, let me say this to you. When it comes to the history of mankind under limelight, not a single soul has been more battle-tested than Trump. Nobody, not a soul. Give me a name.
No,
I want you to actually think about top five.
You cannot.
Give me a name. Give me who's a top five. Bush? No. Obama? No. Obama never had a career before. Nobody knew who he was until his speech in 04 at the DNC. Nobody has experienced more of people targeting him than Donald Trump. He is so battle-tested. So to him, a question like this is like it's a regular Tuesday. Well, I think it was a bad day that he had. I think he's a good guy. Next. 7-second answer.
But even though he has been battle tested, that's undisputable.
Yeah.
The grace that he's showing now, the Trump 2.0 is such a better presidency than Trump 1.0.
But because he doesn't have to get reelected.
Yeah.
That's
done. But that is the most important thing, though. Because think about it. If you had to be reelected, that's when you would say, you know what, let me have a little grace and be a little more distinguished.
But hear me out.
The fact that he doesn't have to be that
hear
way
me out. You ready?
is why I respect
Let's
it.
go through the whole thing from the day the president chose to run. Lost.
In 2015, you mean?
Found.
Yep.
Committed. He's running. Lifestyle. He wins. He's everywhere. Then, entitled, bored, it's me, rebellion, it's unfair, it's unfair, it's unfair. Then he gets the break. What's the best job you ever had? I've never had a better job of being a president.
Legacy.
Then he comes back. It's a legacy and history. He is all about legacy and history. And a part of being a legacy and history is to learn how to manage team of rivals, and he's doing it. And you got a problem.
On the power versus force chart, I was trying to think when you started talking about him, where would you put Trump right now in the chart? And Rob, if you can, bro, but the power versus.
Oh, great question, Vincent.
Think about we talk about it, and I know we talked about us about 2-3 weeks ago, Pat. I want to know Trump right now with the battle tested, with everything that he's been going through, from the hate, from destroying him with his money, from the lawfare, from the bullet to his head, to where he's at right now, even talking kindly about a guy that basically called him a pedophile. Where are you at on this list?
On any given day, he can go up to willing. I think that's it.
Huh.
No.
I would maybe go acceptance, reason on some things, but I'm just...
he's floating on acceptance and reason.
I think he's between willing and reason.
I got to tell you, I think he's somewhere sometimes between the love and joy. I don't think he's got peace. I think he's running and gunning.
I don't think he's there
I think he said, I love the word love. I love tariffs more.
No, he loves tariffs. He never.
No, I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he's there.
Really?
Yet.
You don't think he's that high?
No, I don't think he's there yet, because in his mind, when you're still in, like right now, we had a call yesterday. It was an intense call yesterday, first thing in the morning. Was it yesterday or the day before? It was probably
Yesterday morning.
Tough morning, because we had to overcome a one of the 20 crises. Literally, it was one of the 20. I'm telling you, it was one of the 20 crises you experience in business. And I'm probably going to share it with you guys on the webinar that I do. And by the way, if you're not registered for it, I want to give you this white paper. If you're running a business, you have to know these 20 threats, because it's going to affect your business. And it costs us a lot of money every time we go through it. But we had this call, and we're going through it, right? And I said something to my guys. I said, can I ask you a question? I said, so we've known about this since Friday. You haven't called me? Yes. Why is that? Are you not calling me because you don't want to bother me because I'm running it with my insurance company? I said, there's one person in the company, and it's only one person, that you get to call him if there's a problem, a tier 1 problem on his birthday, on his anniversary, on vacation, on a company trip. He's in Italy. He's in Monaco. He's in Australia. There's only one person. Because my guys were like, I was very surprised. You never called me when I was on PTO and I was on vacation. I said, yes, I don't want to call you because I want you to enjoy your PTO. If a tier 1 crisis happened, I will call you. But I'm not the guy that calls you if not tier 1 crisis. I'm a leader. We'll handle it, right? But for you, you don't get to treat me that way. I'm the flipping founder.
You got to get those calls.
You call me.
Yeah.
Don't feel sorry for me. Don't feel I chose this job because I freaking love it. He's still in the grind. There's still 90% of stuff that's not done yet. He still has to be an asshole at times. He still has to push the envelope at times. He still has to push people around at times. He still has to do that. That's why he's not there yet. Once he gets to the point that he knows some of these tariffs, the Panama Canal, some of these things are done, the piece is coming, I think you are going to see him going there. I don't think he's fully there yet. That's why he still can't show too much love and joy. You can't. You still have to show unpredictability. You're dealing with a guy named Putin. The other day, Putin and them are talking to each other, and it's like, hey, you know, who called who? Because this whole story about Putin and Trump envoy hold productive meeting on Ukraine as U.S. deadline nears. He still hasn't finished, so you want him to show joy and peace? You can't show that. You can have it internally, but you got to keep it to yourself. When you're raising your kids and you have boys, you got to still show toughness. So this story comes out that, you know, Russia issues nuclear weapons warning, no limits. And then Putin's asked the question on this meeting that they're going to be having. I'll read it to you, and I want Rob, if you can find a clip. So President Putin met with Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff in Moscow on Wednesday, when Putin's foreign policy advisor, Yuri Ushakov, stated Russia had conveyed signals to the American side on the Ukraine issue and received corresponding signals from Trump, describing the 3-hour meeting as productive. The meeting, also attended by senior Russian officials, Kirill Dmitriev, focused on Ukrainian prospects for Russia-U.S. strategic cooperation as Washington presses for a ceasefire before Trump's Friday deadline. Despite the talks, Trump imposed an additional 25% tariff on India for buying Russian oil, citing they're fueling the Russian war machine. So, Rob, if you can play the clip that you have, this is President Putin being asked about the meeting. Go for it.
Ради Бога, извините, что прерываю такую интеллектуальную экскурсию, но в свете последних новостей о вашей будущей встрече с Трампом, а кто был инициатором этого саммита?
Заинтересованность была проявлена с обеих сторон. Кто там какое слово сказал первым, это уже не имеет значения.
А можете уточнить, ваш помощник сказал, что она будет на следующей неделе, скорее всего. А где? Хотя бы намекнуть место.
У нас много друзей, которые готовы нам помочь организовать мероприятия подобного рода. Вот один из друзей, президент Объединенных Арабских Эмиратов. Я думаю, что мы решим, но это было бы одним из подходящих, вполне подходящих мест.
А что Зеленский? Встреча будет?
Я уже говорил неоднократно, что я ничего в целом не имею против, это возможно, но для этого должны быть созданы определенные условия.
You can pause it right there. So, you know, when I had the president on the podcast, I played a clip where I said, Mr. President, here's the only time I've ever seen you get emotional. Do you remember that, Rob, in the podcast when I showed it to him?
Yes.
And I'm showing him the clip. I don't know if you remember.
I love that. I love that clip.
Yeah.
I
showed him the clip, and I noticed that, Rob, is there a way you can find that
I'm going
clip?
to find it right now.
I'm showing him the clip, and I'm like, it looks like you're getting emotional because you're speechless on the way the audience is reacting to you. And I said, can you please watch this? So he watches this, and you see him go like this. He crosses his arms, and he's watching it. You can tell he's holding back, okay? You can tell he's holding back as he's getting emotional when I'm showing this clip.
What did you ask him at that point?
I wanted to see if there was going to be an element of him showing the vulnerable side of him for America to fall in love with the fact that this man also has feelings and emotion. His life is also hard. It's when I talked about the fact that a father goes through three. Yeah, this is it. Can you back up a little bit, Rob?
Yep.
You're so good at finding this stuff, Rob. Go back a little bit.
I love this.
Watch this. And I just want you to see his body language. Can you go back when I start saying it? Go ahead. Watch this. To you. And I said, wow. Okay, this is South Dakota. So this is Rapid City, South Dakota. You're speaking. And all of a sudden you have this moment. If you can play this clip, I want to get a reaction to this. Go forward, Rob.
And help build America into the greatest nation in the history of the world.
That music.
This is when he was going through it.
I hope it shows.
If that music
Look
don't
at
get
look,
you,
yeah, but
man.
look
at his
like he's really like
Look at it. You see it?
reflecting. Emotional.
Like what he's done for the country.
Some people would be crying right now.
No, he is crying.
Yeah.
You just don't see it.
Exactly.
Oh.
No, let it keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Look at his arms crossed.
Look at his arms.
Well, let me explain. So, I think I'm the only politician that ever spoke to music before, and I do that sometimes at the end of some of the rallies.
I wish we could show the video while he's watching himself because his arms weren't crossed.
He started doing
He's holding himself back, and he knows he can't show it. You know why he can't show it? Let me explain to you why. He's in a, again, this is my analysis, so it could be fully off. In that mode, he knows deep down inside it's love and joy, and he wants to show emotion. But he knows he can't show it to his enemies. You cannot show that you have that. They can only see the psycho side of you. You cannot show love. You have to sometimes show a little bit of anger and pride. You have to. That's used every once in a while for them to know you're crazy. You ever seen that scene with Christopher Walken and the line when he's telling that story?
Oh, I love it.
Have you ever
Which
seen
movie?
Rob, type in Christopher Walken lion.
Oh.
You ever seen this?
Oh, Adam's gonna love it.
let me tell you, Rob. If you just go on, so this is the part about
Lion.
that's the one, Rob. That's the one. Let the commercial go. This validates what he had to do. If you is that the
I don't know. Is it
is it this part? Is that the scene? Oh, listen. The audience has to
Oh yes,
see
yes.
the line speed.
But
I have
this is in
it.
the
I'm
movie,
sending it to Rob.
the pool movie.
Rob, I just texted it to you.
You talking about from the one on X?
Rob, just make sure. I'm almost positive that's it.
You know, she's not just another notch on your
Yeah,
belt.
Robbie, that's it.
That's not the one.
I sent it-
Terrible
I sent it-
timing, Adam.
Yeah,
But this
Pat.
is a different. Watch this one here.
This one.
Watch
Right?
this one here.
Ooh.
This is.
This is it.
Watch this.
Pool hall junkies.
Look at this lion. He's the king of the jungle. Huge mane out there. He's laying down under a tree in the middle of Africa. He's so big. He's so hot. He doesn't want to move. Now, the little lion cubs, they start messing with him. Biting his tail, biting his ears. He doesn't do anything. The lioness, she starts messing with him, coming over, making trouble. Still, nothing. Now, the other animals, they notice this. And they start to move in. The jackals, hyenas, they're barking at him, laughing at him. They nip his toes and eat the food that's in his domain. They do this, and they get closer and closer and bolder, till one day, that lion gets up and tears the shit out of everybody, runs like the wind, eats everything in his path. Because every once in a while, the lion has to show the jackals who he is.
Wow. Wow.
Pause it.
What a freaking scene.
You can't. So as much as you as a leader are going through a love and joy mode, your enemies can't see it. If they see it, they will exploit it. So as much as he may be internally there, you have to stay in psycho mode right now. He cannot show any of that. And I think he is so aware of it I think he is so aware of it. And when he snapped at Elon, he knew he had to show everybody, hey, guys, I know you're thinking you're the reason why I got elected. I'm the one that took the freaking 3 bullets.
I'm the lion.
I'm the one that the bullets were shot at me. I'm the one that 3 times on my life, not you. I'm the one that at 70 years old, I decided to campaign. None of you guys were supporting me. You guys are all standing here. I'm the one that Tulsi was against, JD was against, Rubio was against, RFK was against, Elon was against. I'm that guy. And then you guys have joined my team. I'm the lion. He can't show that. He has to show anger at times. He has to show pride at times. He has to be unpredictable at times, and he gets it. So he understands this. So when they're having this whole thing with Putin, they're going back and forth.
Putin, exactly. Because Putin's a lion as well.
He is.
With zero emotion.
He is. He totally is. But I'm telling you, I'm convinced also Putin's at a level right now where the level of mutual respect is there. There's no question about it. And the only thing that Putin has an edge over Trump is one thing. He knows Trump's got 3.5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And Putin does not. Putin knows what's going on with election. Rob, what is this one here?
This is Peter Doocy explaining how the the Trump-Putin meeting came about yesterday at the White House.
Let's see.
Earlier today in Moscow, Steve Witkoff was told by Vladimir Putin that Putin wants to meet at some point with Trump. Witkoff then relayed that message to the president, who is open to it, the possibility of a meeting as soon as next week, if the result of that meeting will be an end to the war in Ukraine. We know that President Trump was on a phone call with Volodymyr Zelensky and some European leaders. He shared this with all of them. We don't know exactly where in the world it would be. It could be anywhere. Could be at the White House. Could be in a neutral country like Qatar or Switzerland or something, the people that normally host things like this. And I have a statement from Caroline Leavitt, hot off the presses. Haven't seen this anywhere. It says, as President Trump said earlier today on Truth Social, great progress was made during Special Envoy Witkoff's meeting with President Putin. The Russians expressed their desire to meet with President Trump, and the president is open to meeting with both President Putin and President Zelensky. President Trump wants this brutal war to end. And so the emphasis there is on the Russians making this request, but President Trump obviously being open enough to it that there could be a global summit between Putin, Trump, and Zelensky as soon as next week. But there's also a possibility that it slides, and there's also a possibility that it never happens.
Okay. So what do you think? You think any progress is going to be made here? Because just last week, what did President Trump do? Oh, you're going to be doing this? No problem. I'm pulling up 2 of my nuclear subs to be right by you. Yeah, you have that? Go ahead and play this clip.
Deploy the nuclear submarine.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had to do that. We just have to be careful. And a threat was made, and we didn't think it was appropriate, so I have to be very careful. So I do that on the basis of safety for our people. A threat was made by a former president of Russia, and we're going to protect our people.
Good. That's how you react to it. Tom, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I love how the president speaks. He used the word careful twice. He used the word threat 3 times. So it was not brash saying they're not coming to the negotiating table. I got to let them know who's in charge. That's not what he said. A threat was made. We didn't think it was appropriate. We need to be careful. So in the news, the headlines from the liberal left would have you believe this is an unhinged president, and here he goes again. But what really is happening is he's taking a very measured, thoughtful, step-by-step approach to what's going on. And what happens 4 days after the subs move?
What happened after?
We just saw the clip. You know, maybe we'll meet here, maybe we'll meet. And by the way, when Peter Doocy says Qatar, half the media says Qatar, the other half says Qatar.
Qatar, yeah.
Right.
So lazy.
So it's, well, there was an ambassador during the Gulf War that corrected the American media and said it's pronounced Qatar. And so most of the old school media says Qatar. So when you hear that, that's people that are reacting to that. But I thought it was very measured. I really like the leadership that it shows.
And will anything happen? That's the question. Will anything happen
here? So I'll go to that. I think we're going to get a summit. Because, look, conscription is happening. Both Zelensky, Ukraine, and Russia are losing the hearts of their people because of conscription, the people that they're having to haul off in the vans. And they have the issues that America had in 1969 with the draft, right? And people protesting the draft in the Kent State, the 4 students that were shot by the National Guard in Kent State. So they have issues and reasons, both economic, local politics, to come together. And I think that all of the wins that Trump has been having, Pat, is making him stronger on the world stage. All of these trade wins are made with governments.
Mm-hmm.
He's winning with governments. And so I believe the body language, everything I'm seeing here, my opinion, I think we're going to get a summit. And I think Trump is going to be the arbiter in the middle of that summit.
But Tom, here's my question to you, though, and Adam, sorry to cut you off. But Tom, and I know where Pat's going. It's, do you think, okay, they're in the room. It's Trump, it's Zelensky, it's Putin. What has to be on? Because I personally don't feel Putin's going to budge at all. Putin's that guy. His attitude is going to be, listen, I told you guys, stop pushing NATO. Don't push the. You guys said you weren't going to move an inch. You guys are keep doing this. Everybody's kind of teaming up against us. And I warned you. I told you guys not to do it. You guys forced my hand. So I think Zelensky's going to have to bow down and
I agree with that. Do you think Zelensky's gaining or losing energy and power right now?
He's losing not only support, he's losing the energy. I think it's over because especially with Trump and now, Zelensky's not this, this like force, this like remember they were showing him at the Oscars.
Go Google Zelensky to be replaced. There's been factions in the government there that are talking about forcing a replacement of Zelensky. So he has got little stories that are leaking out now from his own government about it. And I agree with you. I don't think Putin backs down
at all.
I think Putin will accommodate, but he's got to keep his strongman persona because he's never going to give that up.
Yeah.
And I think Zelensky's the one that backs down, but he doesn't just cave in.
Let me tell you. If I'm Putin and Zelensky comes and pulls off an act the way that he did, Putin's not going to take it the same way Trump's going to take it. I mean, it's just not going to happen that way. If he comes up and he behaves the way that he did,
like this attitude,
and he gives all the attitude and acts like a diva, not dressed in a suit, all the bullshit stuff that he does. I'm at a point that Trump's camp is talking to Zelensky to say, you better get your act together or else I'm going to put a 50% tariff on you. And you better put on a suit. You better look sharp. You better come ready or else. I swear to God, if you pull off an escapade the way you did with us at the White House, I'm going to destroy you. I have a feeling that message needs to be given to Zelensky. If Zelensky doesn't hear that and he comes and does that to Putin, it's going to be like, I don't trust Trump anymore. You don't care. You can't get your guy in check. I think there needs to be something like that happening, and I think that'll prevent Putin from wanting to be a part of it.
I agree with that, and I think all Putin needs is a wink from the West, and he will go do what he's wanted to do. Do you think he can't take Zelensky out on any given Tuesday?
For sure.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to the next story.
You want to see, just real quick?
Yeah.
You want to see liberals lose their mind? Have Trump work out a peace deal with Russia and Ukraine and win a Nobel Peace Prize. They will lose their mind because most of the liberals out there, and especially the establishment, is obviously pro-Ukraine, rooting for Zelensky. Imagine if Trump brokers this deal. He's already been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize by Netanyahu. By the way, Cambodia and Thailand, they were just about to go to war. He ended that real quick. We almost forgot there was a nuclear war between India and Pakistan. Trump ended that real quick. No Nobel Peace Prize. Obama got one within his first year for being what? A cool black guy?
For making a speech in Berlin for 500,000 people.
So if he can pull this off and get a Nobel Peace Prize and say, you think he is?
Oh, he's gonna get it. Let me tell you, man.
You're acting like it's a guarantee.
No, I'm saying that because if you don't, it is such a humiliating look on them to not recognize. They don't have a choice but to have to give it to him to gain some credibility.
We'll see.
If you don't, it is absolutely embarrassing if they don't do that.
Well, what did we learn from Stephen Colbert, CBS? Sometimes they'll just double down.
No, but you have
on what.
But let me tell you,
their side wants.
The market speaks, and the market's at a point right now where dumb ideas and terrible approach to business is getting exposed. You better get your act together. I want to get to the next story here.
Sir.
All right, so next story we got is President Trump is asking about a third term. I want this thing to be a 2-minute story, guys. I don't want everyone's reaction. We just want a couple people. I just want to show this. He's being asked about a third term, and Trump 2028. Here's his response. But he gives credit to two names. And one of them he's never said before. Go ahead, Rob.
Unless I run again.
Are you going to run again? The
No,
Constitution
probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
And you're not going to fire Jay Powell. We'll go all talk about all the stuff that.
Hey, Becky, I'd like to run. I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. You know why? Because people love the tariffs, and they love the trade deal, and they love that countries. And they love that foreign countries aren't ripping us off anymore. For years, they ripped us off, friend and foe.
What's the one that he says the two names, Rob?
Right
you have
here.
that one?
It. Yep.
So there's one where he gives two names.
Right here.
Okay,
different speech, but yes.
Go ahead.
You got off the roof all right?
Yeah.
You said this morning that you probably won't be running for a third term. This weekend, Secretary of State Rubio said that he thought J.D. Vance would be a great nominee. You could clear the entire Republican field right now. Do you agree that the heir apparent to MAGA is J.D. Vance?
Well, I think most likely, in all fairness, he's the vice president. I think Marco is also somebody that maybe would get together with J.D. in some form. I also think we have incredible people, some of the people on the stage right here. So it's too early, obviously, to talk about it, but certainly he's doing a great job, and he would be probably favored at this point.
JD gives a shout out to JD. And
Finally.
says Rubio can get in there somehow. So he's saying a JD
Like
Rubio
a 1-2 combo right
Vance
there.
Rubio ticket 2020.
Pretty powerful.
It's pretty powerful. Now,
I mean, not as powerful as a Newsom, J.B. Pritzker or whatever his name is, but we'll see.
Bro.
Yeah. So, anyways, who knows what's
But
going
that's
to
the
happen.
first time I think he's acknowledged
JD's
Vance
it's the
being
first
the
time,
guy.
It's the first time
Because he was
It
asked
wasn't
about
an
it before. and he-
endorsement. It was an observation.
Yeah, the first
not
time
an
he goes,
endorsement.
it's too early, but he said no. He said no, and then he goes, it's too early.
Yeah.
It is too early.
Listen, just the fact that he's talking about it's something to be thinking about.
What
Let's
a
go to a
guy.
couple things. So Jaguar and Porsche. Business stories, guys. This is business case studies of what to do and what not to do. So Jaguar CEO steps down after woke rebrand sparked massive social media firestorm, forcing them to move on. This legendary ad here that they put up, and everybody's like, not interested, man. This is not the Jaguar I think about. So the guy had to step down. Now, on the flip side, Porsche CEO seeks fresh cost cuts, warning business model no longer works in a post-Trump new China world. So the CEO, Oliver Bloom warned the 36,700 strong German workforce about further cost cuts, planning to negotiate with the IG Metal Trade Union for a second package to protect profit margins. The company aims to eliminate more than a tenth of its staff, it's 3,600 jobs, by 2029, reducing its cost base to reflect a world where it sells only 250,000 cars annually, down from 311,000 cars. That's 60,000 fewer cars. He stated our business model that sustained us over many decades no longer functioning today in its current form. Business conditions have deteriorated massively within a short period of time. He highlighted a 28% plunge in China's first half vehicle sales to the lowest in 11 years, impacting Porsche's EVs, as the expected 80% EV sales shares by 2030 is no longer realistic. He noted, on the one hand, we need EVs to fulfill regional CO2 regulations, but on the other hand, the profit margins are far below those of our combustion engine cars. The decline, coupled with investments in EVs like the EV Macan, strains Porsche and its suppliers. Tom, what's going on with these automakers, specifically Porsche?
Okay, Porsche and Jaguar. We'll start with Porsche. Europe threw a bunch of environmental laws in there, and the automakers were expecting 80% EV sales by 2030. The people that make the laws don't know about lithium. They don't know about rare earth minerals. I shouldn't say they don't know. They are uninformed of the big left turn that you're forcing everybody to make. So they throw these CO2 regulations, environmental laws. That's green Europe. That is what happens. And so Porsche says, okay, we're with you, 80% EV sales by 2030. But the profit margin on an EV car without a subsidy because of the expensive rare earth metals is less than it is the classic Porsches that run on the blood of dead dinosaurs, oil. So you go back and look at this. What happened was socialist laws impacted capitalist companies. Capitalist companies are now sitting back and saying, oh my gosh, we're screwed. We're not going to be 80% EVs. They're more expensive. So guess what we have to do? We have to cut. Now, you know why? You know why they have to cut? You know why they have to do it? Because they don't have a President Trump that rolled back some of this green BS here in the United States. Trump rolled back green things in the United States. And so now the Porsche guy is still stuck. He doesn't have a President Trump. Germany, if it had a President Trump like a Helmut Kohl or a Merkel 1.0, wouldn't be kowtowing to all these EV targets and CO2 regulations of the green lobby, and they'd be able to operate. Now Porsche is saying, I can't sell that many electric cars, and I don't make as much profit on them as I do on the regular cars. It's a Porsche. It's meant to be a sports car. It's meant to be what it is. Now, Jaguar did the same thing. The Jaguar CEO was a 30-year CEO, 30 years in the chair. He got bit too because he had to make a bet on the same European environmental laws, meaning, well, the laws are this, so I guess I got to go make the bet on the EVs like this. He got screwed, and then something else did. Jaguar got deeply in bed with the green lobby, which lives right next door in the same apartment to the DEI lobby.
Great.
And he bowed down to both the green and the DEI, and he allowed his marketing to go nuts with the rebranding on DEI. And so Jaguar's CEO, after 30 years at the helm, 30 years, he has the worst year on record. He crushes his sales by 97%, and he's out. But the core of it...
Crushes means good. His sales dropped 97%.
Yeah.
Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good.
But to the core of it, Pat, the government regulations hit both companies, and they don't have a President Trump that came in and said, not only are we going to make cars in America, but all these green regulations that are straining people, goodbye.
Yeah. Adam.
I have a question for Mr. Bet David. I've seen you in many cars, sir, many different cars, but the car of choice these days is your Porsche.
Yeah.
Why did you select that car?
I've had many different Ferraris. I've had Lambos. I've had Bentley. I've had Rolls Royce. The Porsche 911 Turbo S is the perfect car I've ever owned in my life.
Really?
Wow.
I'm 6'4", 245. I fit in it comfortably. The kids can sit there with me while we're going places. Rob, can you pull up the Porsche one while we watch a show? And it's a phenomenal car. It's a 2.1 second 0 to 60.
Yeah, I felt it.
It's just
the back of my head was.
It's literally a beautiful car. I hope Porsche gets it together, but I also understand sometimes when regulators get involved and they're forcing a company to run it based on certain regulations that they want to create, and they don't understand how capitalism works, they get in the way. Get the hell out of my way. Let me produce a great product. What are you doing to me? Why are you trying to make this thing tougher? You know, I mean. Even some of the California were like, by 2035, you know, when Biden got up and said, but Newsom said, by 2035, 50% of all cars in the state of California, I don't know what the number was.
You must.
Yeah, you must or else. And it's like, no, we're going to change it. No, we're going to change it. No, we're going to change it. No. So is this one? So
yes, sir.
Yeah, Rob, if you can make this. And by the way, this is a friend of ours, Brandon, and she had something to say here, Rob. I don't know if I want to show this one or the other one, but she likes a Porsche as well. She was driving my Porsche a couple of days ago. I don't like the way she drove it. Rob, play this clip. Go ahead. Who gave permission for her to take my Porsche?
She could take my house. Jen's going to be pissed.
She is. Look at this.
Wow, what are you doing, lady?
Move up.
Jake, what are you doing, Jake?
Yo, did they really burn out your car like that?
Oh, wow.
Holy
Rob, do you have the other one? Play the other one, Bob.
There is another hang
Yeah,
on.
do me a favor. Play the one. And by the way, that's the Porsche. And they showed me that clip. I'm like, hey,
Great
she's
car.
kind of not that one, Rob. Go to that one right there.
To quote an Arnold movie.
The other one. The
Be
one
careful,
with
you're going to void the warranty.
Watch this one. Watch
Okay,
this one.
okay,
Watch this
let's
one.
see it.
Watch this one. And her manager, Brandon, was...
Everyone wants to win.
Watch this.
But most don't. In sports, it's called the clutch gene.
That's your
In
couch.
life, the winning gene. Losers crave comfort, make excuses, talk big, but freeze when it counts. Winners, uncertainty excites them. That's what gets me excited. the winner, Gene. That's why I'm going to the Vault Conference.
Oh, wow.
She's smart.
By the way, she's got a great personality for sure. Rob,
are those real or are they fake? Real?
Is that the same
Fake?
shirt she was wearing?
Fake?
Can we get to Rob
Wait
for
up.
a second?
Guys, go to thevaultconference.com. Get your tickets. Literally, while I'm sitting here, a ton of CO tickets were just sold, one by one.
I wonder why.
No, I'm not. I'm not previous to this.
Let me take one guess, PBD.
But yes, but the point, going back to it, folks, if you are somebody that's running a business, I'm telling you, or you want to be in a room with people that are getting on a right bus, with people that are in your ear, that want to do bigger things for themselves, get to the Vault Conference. Bring yourself and your spouse. Come there to the Vault Conference. Go to thevaultconference.com. Buy your ticket. If you can afford to get the CO, that's the right ticket to get. But if you can't, even if it's general, get in the room. All of us will be there as well.
September 8th through 11th.
Gaylord, Orlando.
In Orlando,
Yes.
Florida.
Yes.
Be there or be left in the
Cannot
dust.
wait for it. So that's the Porsche story for us. But let's get to the next story. All right. So I'm going to go with this one here. The 996 work schedule could be coming to your workplace soon. What is 996? Let me tell you what 996 means. The 996 isn't the old Porsche where we just talked about Porsche. We're not talking about that Porsche. The 996 is working 9 to 9, 6 days a week.
Damn.
Some people are worried that's coming to a city near you, okay? So let's read this great story here. AI startups are adopting the 996 work schedule where employees work 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, to outpace Chinese rivals in the AI race. But Tekender Pamar, writing in The Ink, warns that this grueling schedule could hurt instead of help productivity. Rob, please find out who this person is. Tekender Pamar, another journalist that wants to tell us how to build businesses while he uses Apple iPhone, ran by two founders. That 7 is how they work. Experts call this culture corporate abuse. With Caitlin Collins, organizational psychologist and program strategy director at BetterWorks, stating the notion that working 9 to 9, 6 days a week drives innovation is deeply misleading. As research shows, sustained overwork leads to burnout, cognitive fatigue, and disengagement. A British study indicates employees working over 11-hour days are 67% more likely to have a heart attack, and over 54 hours a week increases the risk of karoshi, the Japanese term for death from overwork. Oh, wow. My God. All these things are adding. Tom, what are your thoughts on the story here?
First of all, they're conflating two things that they don't understand. And I will say that by the right, I don't know this.
Wait, this is the person? We're supposed to take it. So what has this guy done?
Lady?
That's what my hair looks like in the morning.
No.
That's
Let me.
morning.
True.
What has this person done? What have they built? I want to know what this guy's built. If he's built companies and sold them, I'm going to give him so much respect.
He says he's worked at 7 magazines.
I'm an editor who's worked at these places. Was Business Insider's tech feature editor where I commissioned deeply. I'm currently an editorial consultant available to Ryan News. I'm also available for select writing projects for Nation, Fortune Business. So a writer, a journalist talking to doers of what to do. Yep. Makes a lot of sense. Go ahead, Tom. Tell us.
So I don't know this gentleman at all, and so I'm not judging him personally.
I'm going to judge him. You don't need to.
But I can judge his written word. And his written
I'm going to keep judging him, though. I'm just telling you.
His
Judgment's
written
not
word
going away here.
is actually, although I'm a fan of his haircut, and I once fell in love with someone that had a haircut like that.
Matter of fact, guys,
I love this.
he's here.
What was his name?
My God.
He is here sitting right next to me. He is officially here.
I love it.
Oh, my God. He's in the house. Hang on a second.
Look at this guy.
This is called
6,
incredible
6, 9,
technology.
Whatever the hell it is.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't
Vinny.
work 9. What the hell are you guys talking about? I'm a
Vinny,
writer.
you look amazing.
Thank you. I'm a podcaster. What do you guys talking about? I don't even know what.
So now I'm going to narrow up.
They're cousins.
After that levity,
Sorry, Tom,
let me
go for it.
narrow up the answer
Go for
after
it,
this
Tom.
point of levity, which I enjoyed.
You're about
this
to talk
writer.
about...
Get to the point, Tom.
This writer, yeah.
What is...
Tom, get to the point. So there are part-timers, there are full-timers, there are all-the-timers. And all-the-timers are usually entrepreneurs that are operating with passion. People that have a JOB often don't understand the all-the-timers. And the all-the-timers, what we're talking about here, is 996. It's not 996. It's 24/7 because you're living, you're breathing it. And that's what it's all about. And there are people that want to win, that want to conquer. They want to be the black swan. That's the 996 work culture. It's not an enforced culture. It's not a labor camp. If you don't want that, you have the freedom to go work somewhere else. Now, when they're talking about the Japanese karoshi, they're mostly talking about, you can go look at it from the 80s and 90s, where there was overwork and there was a Japanese culture that was enforced of overwork, and guys were having heart attacks at their desk. Yes, that happened. But this over here, what we're talking about, 996, no, these are people with passion building new companies that say, I want to be the black swan, and I'm willing to pay the price to be the black swan because I need to be sharper, better, more informed, more ahead, and more paranoid, in the words of Andy Grove, to get there.
I stand corrected then. I'm for him then.
I don't understand.
You changed my mind.
Tom, how can you stand there and deliver a impassioned business speech when this guy's looking at your face right
But
next
listen,
to you?
I'm telling you right now, he changed my mind. Now I'm pro. You know what? Get your butts to work.
Because this is commentary, and this is Vinny giving what I call intelligent commentary.
Really?
Even though he looks like Cousin It from the Addams Family.
Okay.
For anybody that remembers that.
Listen, because I know we're on a pod. This is a serious thing. Never take advice from anybody that looks like this. Okay, I'm just telling you guys right now. This doesn't know what the hell they're talking. If you're just a writer,
I'm waiting for Pat to weigh in. All the timers, entrepreneurs with passion.
Let me give you an answer here. There is a lady once that said to Arnold, I don't know if you've heard the story or not. She says to Arnold, she says, I would never marry a man like you. She says, don't worry, you never will. Okay? You know, if a man ever looked like you, I would never be with them. It says, don't worry, you never will, because they're not going to look like me.
Mm-hmm.
If a person wants to build a startup, they don't understand what 996 is.
Mm-hmm.
The startup guys are not even like, I'm going to work from 9 to 9, 6 days a week. When you go from an element of flirting with something, then being interested in something, then being committed to something, then being obsessed, you can't get somebody that's obsessed to get something out of their mind.
I agree.
My oldest son, Vinny, if you're around him, what is he going to talk about?
Tico?
Yes.
Tico, we're talking about like,
Watch
I'm gonna go
this.
the umbrella.
Watch this.
We're talking politics.
Yes.
We're talking like literally policies, world stuff. We're talking about
movie characters.
Movie characters. He's going to places that are just like, if this character did this, and by the way, his brain is going movies, politics, stuff that's happening in the world. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's in a positive way.
So, by the way, don't worry. No one's going to force you to work 9 to 9, 6 days a week. These guys are not going and telling people you better work 9 to 9, 6 days a week. These people are saying, if you're going to be here, we're all the timers, but you're going to get equity, so you're going to own a piece of the company. And if we build this into a multi-billion-dollar company, you're going to get a few $1 million of exit. And that's going to be life-changing money for you. But if you want to go, it's 9 to 9, 6 days a week. No, I don't think that's healthy for you. Don't worry, you're not making that decision. What do you think it's like when you're at war? What do you think happens to the people that are deployed there in Afghanistan? What do you think life looks like in the military when you're going there? What do you think happens there? What do you think happens to people that are, playing sports at the highest level of competitiveness, training, doing all? What do you think coaches do? Football coaches getting up 3 o'clock in the morning to come to the office to look at the plays, to prepare for the training. Maybe players get rest. You think coaches get rest? You think football coaches get rest? I'm with Coach K yesterday, and he's talking about the fact that he got 3 stents in his heart, 2 surgeries on his knees, all this other stuff. Won all these championships, won 3 gold medals, one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. This guy's an all-the-timer, 70-some years old, up on stage on fire, says, I haven't been in an arena with this many people in front of me for 3 years. He wasn't speaking till 11 o'clock. He was at 8:45 talking to everybody watching all these videos. He didn't have to do that. That's not part of the contract. We didn't pay him for him to be prepared. That's him. That's who he is. If somebody is an all-the-timer, you're not going to change them. And if somebody is lazy, maybe you can get him from a little bit to a 5 or a 6. One of my favorite quotes on my affirmation list that I had is, sometimes on a way to a dream, you get lost and find a bigger one. Sometimes on a way to a dream, you get lost and find a bigger one. When something catches your heart, you will never, for the rest of your life, meet a person like that ever again. Never. And with Hart, we're talking about a quote from many years ago that we would constantly talk about. It was, I'm confident in my preparation, humble in victory and loss, cocky in my predictions. Let me say that one more time. confident in my preparation, humble in victory or loss, and cocky with my predictions. You know whose quote that is? Conor McGregor. Back in the days when he was confident in preparation, humble in victory and loss, and then cocky in prediction. That was him when nobody wanted to face him. Back in the days when he was training and taking it seriously. I'd love for him to do that again because I'd love to see him fight at the White House next year against Chandler. That'd be a great fight to watch. But nobody goes and builds an Apple company because somebody told them to build a $3-4 trillion company, Steve, you guys got to work 9 to 9, 6 days a week. They're like, what? We're not working 9 to 9. We're working all day, 7 days a week for 5-10 years because we want to kill everybody. We want to compete. They don't read an article like this from some guy like this with a beautiful hairdo and say, I'm going to go out there and do that. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, so, well, some people are just allergic to hard work. Some people in America are just allergic to work. You know, we had a conversation at breakfast yesterday, and I said, Pat, you talked about responsibilities and what it takes to be a man. I said, Pat, I don't know anybody that works as hard as you. I just don't. And then I asked you, how many people do you know, like actual names, that work as hard as you? And there weren't many names that came to mind. Obviously, there's billionaires that have built ridiculous companies that you're not necessarily friends with or in touch with. But Tom said, so there's part-timers, there's full-timers, there's all-the-timers, and then there's just what I would classify as obsessed. I'd put you in that obsessed category. How do you get to that category? You weren't always obsessed, were you? Hey, how you doing?
I got Tom sitting.
Okay.
Was I always obsessed?
Were you always obsessed?
No. I was not always obsessed with something like this. You know, so you're never going to meet that next version of you until something catches your heart and it's like a flame. Boom. Woof. I can't get it out of me. I got obsessed with politics very early on in 08, 09 when I went to a speech with George Will, but I held it back on creating content and talking about it. I just wanted to talk business. And then COVID happened, and I saw what was going on with some of the stuff they were pushing. I'm like, I can't stop. I'm going to start talking about it. And everybody told me you're making a mistake because you haven't sold your insurance company yet. And half your company people are not Republicans. They're not conservatives. They're not capitalists. Be very careful. I'm like, at the time, libertarian, capitalist, pro-family. These were my values. But our company was 24% African-American, 54% Hispanic. You can't talk about this. I said, I'm going to talk about that stuff. Why? It was obsessed. I was not going to let kids, convincing parents that puberty blockers for 9-year-olds a good thing. Sure. That all these things, hey, take the vaccine, whatever. Why can't I do investigation and take my time? You better take it. Why? Why are you in such a hurry? Let me take my time. Let me do some. No, you got to. No, I don't got to. I want to do a little research. No, you can't. Strike. Strike this, strike that. Everything was. So until you get to that point where somebody pisses you off, where you finally are like, I'm not going to live this life. It's not going to change. Or a dream. Something inspires you. We're kind of like, I think I can do X, Y, Z. I feel like we're on our way to do something big with a group that I'm a part of. It's a very magical feeling. When you have it, you know it. You can only explain it to other people who have had it before. Let's hit the last story and wrap up. And I'm trying to see let's hit the Netanyahu story. Netanyahu believes occupying Gaza is the only way to save the hostages, but it will also start bloodiest phase of the war, yet experts warn. Rob, I think you got a clip on this one here.
I have two. I have ABC News report, and then I have President Trump being asked about it.
Go for it.
Sources telling ABC News Prime Minister Netanyahu wants to expand the war and occupy all of Gaza and get the hostages home. At least that is what's been leaked to the press. If it happens, it would be a really radical departure from the negotiations that have been brokered by the US and Arab countries who've effectively been trying unsuccessfully to agree another ceasefire and the release of those still being held. Videos showing two hostages looking emaciated have shocked this country and put more pressure on Netanyahu. We had Steve Witkoff, President Trump's special envoy, telling hostage families just a couple of days ago, we're very, very close to a solution to end this war and that all hostages will be released at once rather than in stages. But honestly, Diane, there's no sense of how this will happen. Intense bombing and mass starvation have failed to force Hamas to relent. The militants calling Israel's latest threats repetitive, worthless and without influence. Families fear a military operation in the areas. This is families of those still being held fear that any expanded military operation, especially into the areas where they think their loved ones are being held, will risk their lives. The brother of one of the hostages, looking painfully thin in that video, telling me that Hamas is using his brother, the other hostages, and the people of Gaza
You can pause
as bargaining.
right there. Let's see what Trump says here. Let's see what Trump says here about the same exact thing. Go for it.
Would you support Israel reoccupying all of Gaza, as has been suggested by some Israeli officials?
Well, I don't know what the suggestion is. I know that we are there now trying to get people fed. As you know, $60 million was given by the United States fairly recently to supply food, and a lot of food, frankly, for the people of Gaza that are obviously not doing too well with the food. And I know Israel's going to help us with that in terms of distribution and also money. We also have the Arab states are going to help us with that in terms of the money and possibly distribution. So that's what I'm focused on. As far as the rest of it, I really can't say. That's going to be pretty much up to Israel. Yep.
Tom.
So, when you look at this and what's going on, first of all, there's a humanitarian crisis that is going on with citizens in Gaza, the people of Gaza. They're there and they're caught in the middle. Hamas hides behind them, and you feel for them. There's also people there that voted for this and ended up with it, and so which sucks. And so I think that what's going on right now is we're trying to get aid in, as the president said, to help the people that are there who are basically refugees. And on the other hand, Netanyahu is basically saying, and let me see if I can translate for Bibi, and I'm not speaking for him, but he's saying occupation is how we're going to get it. Or, man, the deep hidden tunnels and terrorists still exist, and it may be messy, but we may have to go in there with an even deeper occupying presence to solve this and to solve it for good. And people are going to say, oh, well, Bibi's, he's committing genocide with those. No, that's not what he's saying. So I think he's saying is it might be really messy to get in and to do what we have to do to take this to its final phase. And Trump is saying along the way, we're trying to get, refugee support to the people of Gaza, to the citizens.
Benny.
I mean, deadlier and crazier than what has. If it's gonna get deadlier and bloodier than what has already happened, then dude, I'm just gonna pray for those people because how much worse can it get? Last week it was the deadliest yet for aid seekers. 21 months of war. 85 Palestinians were killed trying to get food. Not Hamas holding them or any of that type of stuff, Tommy. It was just saying, this is the UN saying more than 400 Palestinians were killed. There's IDF soldiers that told Haaretz, Haaretz, which is an Israeli newspaper, that they're ordered to fire at unarmed crowds near food distribution sites, even when no threats are present. Okay, then you have Israel's minister Ben-Gvir calling Netanyahu morally bankrupt for even allowing aid into Gaza. He said the starvation of Palestinians should continue. His words were, the only thing to send into Gaza is shells. Okay, and then Republican Congressman Randy Fine recently said, it could have been in May, Rob, I don't know the exact date. He says, and Rob, do you have that clip? I'll have him say it back. He says, we nuked the Japanese twice in order to get unconditional surrender. This is it right here. Listen to what he says.
We nuked the Japanese twice in order to get unconditional surrender. That needs to be the same here. There is something deeply, deeply wrong with this culture, and it needs to be defeated.
We heard in Brooks.
Okay, so, I mean, nuking the entire place. And I get it. And a lot of people are saying, and I think, who do we see yesterday? Megyn Kelly and even Charlie Kirk were mentioning, it's like, guys, you can be critical about because people are going after them because they're not going all in on everything that the government of Israel is doing. But I think these type of things have to be addressed. How is it going to get bloodier when the death toll's already 60,000 people have already died in the conflict? 1,000 have died at distribution sites. Journalists, and here's the thing that bothers me, Pat. journalists aren't allowed to, they're banned from entering Gaza to report what is happening. You can't. When's the last time you saw, like, we just saw a couple of soldiers shooting. I don't know what year that's from. You can't see what's happening. And I get the fact that there's hostages. I understand that. But what we know as American government, as the American stance on terrorism is what? We do not negotiate with terrorists, okay? Whatever you're going to do, you should have been doing it already. If they're so tactically... Israel, we saw in this last operation, what were they doing in Iran? They blew up a part of a building where just the apartment of where the guy was blown up happened. And we got to this point because of what? Me and Adam were talking about this in the hotel room yesterday, October 7th. And now we're hearing from Israeli soldiers, IDF soldiers, in their Congress, and I sent Rob the video. They're saying that they got on October 7th stand-down orders in the hours of when this attack happened. And then Michael Flynn was on a podcast yesterday saying that he was talking to people as well. Is this it, Rob? I mean, it's really long, Rob.
Long, Rob.
Yeah, it's wrong. I'll just tell you guys what he said. He was hearing from people that they were getting stand-down orders, and these are IDF soldiers, and I won't even play that clip too, which always got back to, who was the guy, Pat, that we talked about, that said, now's not the time. It was 2 weeks after October 7th.
John Kirby.
John Kirby said, now's not the time. It's been this far along. Where we are right now. They had warnings. Egypt even warned Benjamin Netanyahu about this day. It happened. Now you're hearing all this stuff, and I'm like, you want to get bloodier? Can we fix the problem that's happening right now? And it's the starving people and the people trying to get food that are getting shot at.
Isn't Trump trying to get the money in there, number one?
Trump's trying to get the money in there.
Number two, isn't there two issues? Is where we are right now, and then did FDR know that the Japanese are going to attack Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
And is that why he took the aircraft carriers out?
Yeah.
We have these conspiracies that have gone back and forth about countries getting into war. Okay, that's October 7th. We could debate that another time. What do you think right now, Trump trying to get aid in, and what Netanyahu's saying now?
I think
separating it from October 7th on who did or didn't.
I think getting to the point where Trump has a heart. They asked him on Air Force One a couple of weeks ago, I want to say 1.5 weeks ago. So the reporter's like, hey, Melania, he's even said Melania is worried about this. He goes, they're starving. He goes, something has to change because us caring about those people, those innocent people, it's not anti-Semitic. I'm not pro-Hamas. I'm just tactically, you could be doing a better job because that anti-Semitic thing, like then people around the world are judging, and I don't agree with it. They're labeling all Jewish people. No. If you're going to go after the problem, say it exactly. You know, it's the Jews. No. It's Bibi Netanyahu's government that's not going about this in the right way. Because when I see starving children...
Right way according to who?
Meaning, like, what do you mean?
What is the right way according to? So, for example, they say Trump is not going the right way about all the illegal immigrants we have. According to who? Trump's not going the right way about renegotiating tariffs with companies. According to who? So according to who is Bibi not going the right way?
Okay, I'll give my opinion.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody. I think if the problem is what's happening with Gaza and there's people trying to get food to eat and they're not only stopping the food, they're giving orders to shoot at unarmed crowds, Pat, I have a huge problem with that. Being a veteran as well, that type of stuff, getting orders, you know what orders means? It's coming from the top. Somebody's telling you, listen, if they're getting wild, shoot them. That right there, that tactical move, Pat. And again, hostages and all that, that's a whole different...
It's Vinny, when you're saying that, like, we did that.
Mm-hmm.
America did.
Of course we did. It doesn't make it right.
No, but it's not about it makes it right or it doesn't make it right. Iran did that. Middle East. War is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very nasty. Do I support that behavior? No. I was a kid in Iran when Saddam in Iraq was attacking us, and it's scary as hell, and we were frightened moving from Tehran to Karaj to Bandar Pahlavi to Rasht. We'll just keep moving until finally we're like, let's get the hell out of here. It was so bad that we went to Germany to be at a refugee camp. I'm not supportive of it. But according to who? So when I hear stories like this, with specifically Israel, Netanyahu, he's doing what he's doing. All right. So in America, we'll sit there and, there'll be the guys on the side that are, Jew this, Israel this, all this other stuff. I can't believe what they're doing. I can't believe what they're doing with this. All right, cool. There's a faction that Israel can't do nothing right whatsoever. Then there's a faction that says Israel can't do nothing wrong. Both of those people have zero credibility with me.
I agree.
Okay? Zero credibility with me. When you're only looking at that everything Israel, Jews, you lose, I'm not listening to you. because you're being unreasonable. And when the people can't do anything wrong, you're also, I don't want to hear what you have to say because you're also full of it, right? But for me, if he's choosing to do this and he goes about it and does it himself, you know, the history we have in America, every single state that we have, you know, this is not California, this is Mexico, this is not this is this. What do you think we did? Did you live in California? Did we live in a lot of these states? How do you think it happened? You think it was pretty? You think it was, what are we talking about? Like we're talking about like as if it's going to happen. Like these types of things are going to happen all over the place. They have to handle it. My problem is, hey, you say you can do it. Can you do it with your money? What do you need? If you want to do it by yourself, go do it. I don't support it. I'm not going to get up and great job. We endorse this behavior. And that's exactly what he's doing. He said, hey, my wife is even talking about what are you doing over there? Are we feeding the guys or not? You don't think behind closed doors he's talking to Bibi and saying something like this? Hey, Bibi, let me explain something to you. I swear to God, if the next time I send you food, if it doesn't make it to the people that need to do something, you lose anything you want from me. You're not going to get it. You don't think he says something like that?
I think so.
Does Trump give you the vibe that he's being pushed around by Bibi? Really?
Not at all.
Let's go talk about this. We talked about this, you and I, at dinner the other night. Well, we were at this sushi spot. I don't remember the name of it, but you know which one I'm talking about.
Amazing.
We're sitting there and it's like, wow, Mossad has all these assets on Americans. Okay, hey, let's talk to you, the person that says Mossad has assets on Americans. Because I believe they do. I actually believe that Mossad did use people like Epstein, Robert Maxwell, and a lot of other people today in the system, like the Waltz of some of these stores.
Of course.
I do believe they have assets in America. I believe that they have it on the internal side. But if you and I are presidents, bro, let's say you're a president.
Yeah.
And Mossad shows, hey, Vinny, you better fund this, and this, and you're the president, or else we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Let's say they show a picture from you from 28 years ago. Let's say they have something on what you did from 26 years ago.
Me with the underage girl. At
Whatever
a party.
it is, I'm just saying, let's say they have that. Okay. Who becomes a president without having a big ego? Nobody.
Of course.
What are you going to do if somebody threatens you like that to publicly humiliate you?
And we talked about this.
What are you going to do?
The moment that meeting's over, I'm going to my intelligence.
And what are you
going
to do?
Get your asses in gear and go find everything on this guy. I want you to go. Money, just do it.
Do you think president has dirt on Bibi right now?
I think so. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Do you think president has dirt on a bunch of people in Israel right now?
100%.
How do you think this works?
Yeah.
You want to play 3D chess?
You
Let's
want to do
go.
that? Let's freaking go. You think we're not going to sit here and get assets on you?
Of course.
You think you walk on flipping water? You think Bibi's this perfect-looking guy that's getting everything done? No, there's dirt on him as well. So the only thing I got when I hear stories like this, he's going to do this. President's going to sit there and say, I don't support this behavior. But if he does, what are you going to do it? He has to protect his country. It's part of his job. If he doesn't do it right, they're going to kill him. If they kill him, he won't be the first leader they do this to. They're going to not support him. He's going to get out. Stuff's going to happen. You know, stuff's going to happen. And by the way, they're not letting any media in. Go get media in Iran. Go ahead. Go get media in China. Go ahead. Go move Facebook over there.
Thank you.
Go move on. What places? There's a reason why America is the greatest country in the world. Israel is not the greatest country in the world. What? Israelis live here and they just want to go back to their homeland. They're living here. Why are you living here? Because this is the greatest country in the world. Not any other country. Not Israel. Not China. Not Brazil. Not India. America. Number one. Greatest country in the world. And for us to think that these guys going to come and push us around, dude, come and put intel on me. Guy came up to me with a threat. I'm going to go public with this. I said, I'm going to say it publicly. Don't worry about it. And then I did. Now what are you going to do? Hey, PHP, this is when I was running my insurance company, a couple of my guys, I'm going to say it from stage. Go ahead and threaten me. Then I get intel on you. You want to play that game with me? You don't think I'm going to do that to you? I think it's naive when people say Netanyahu, Trump is, what do you call it?
Trumpet.
Oh, it is such a massive insult to the country.
Mm-hmm.
It's a massive insult for you to go from zero to here. You were just supporting, now he's this bad guy. You don't know all the stories behind closed doors. You don't know what's happening. I'm not a pro-Bibi guy. You've never heard me talk complimentary of Bibi. Have you ever heard me get up there and say, he's the greatest thing? No. I've talked, people can accuse me of talking complimentary of Putin. Yes, guess what? I have.
Yeah, guilty.
You've never heard me speak complimentary of Zelensky, and you've never heard me speak complimentary of Netanyahu. But at the same time, I understand why Zelensky is protecting Ukraine. I understand why they killed hundreds of thousands of people with Russia. I understand why, Netanyahu is doing what he's doing. That's his agenda. And you and I don't have to agree with his agenda, but it's his agenda. Somebody else doesn't like it, vote for someone else.
Yeah.
Kick him out. You got elections in Israel. Get the hell out of there and bring somebody else in that's going to do a better job. But till then, these kinds of things are not going away, Vinny. And again, I feel behind closed doors, Trump is making that call and saying, hey, you crossed the line, you don't have my support. I don't think he's being bullied around the way people make it seem out to be. Trump specifically.
Yeah, see, and I'm not thinking about the bullying part of it. I'm thinking of the fact that, when you mentioned Russia, China, and Iran with the media stuff, they're not our ally. We don't give them $4 billion a year. When that's the case, and I'm giving Adam a bunch of money, then Adam takes my money under my name and is doing all this type of stuff. I'm going to say, hey, Adam, wait, time out, bro. I need to see how you're spending what are you doing with my money?
By the way, let me ask you. So you give me $4 billion a year.
Yeah.
And I'm Israel.
If I give you $4 billion.
Let's say you give me $4 billion a year. What do you think you're getting in return?
I don't even know. What?
Really?
Meaning tactically in the Middle East?
What do you think you're getting in return if you give me $4 billion a year? Let's actually negotiate this.
Okay.
What do you think you get in return if you give me $4 billion a year?
Arms purchases, cooperation. It's a big list.
Honestly,
intelligence, technology.
What do you think if you're giving me? What am I getting in return? You think it's just a handout?
No. I'm saying if they're strategically set up in the Middle East, where we have an ally in the Middle East, and we're giving them.
What do you think you get in return?
I honestly don't even know.
Really?
I swear.
So where do you get intel from? Where do we get intel on all the Middle Eastern countries around? Where?
Okay, there. I'm saying $4 billion is a lot of money.
$4 billion is actually not a lot of money when it comes down to governments. It's really not.
Literally.
A lot of money is Apple is agreeing to invest $600 billion. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
$4 billion, when you're talking at the government level, it's what $40,000 is to civilians. That's not a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being very serious. It's not
a
lot of money. But what they're getting in return is certain assets that they want. By the way, going back and looking at all the terms on how they negotiate stuff with Clinton and all the other guys, historically, I've said this on the record, Israel's always negotiated favorably. Whose fault is that? Politicians' fault.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Israel's always over-negotiated America. And they've owned a bunch of people in America aggressively. Yes, on the record. They've done that. No question about it. So to me, my trust goes into a candidate like Trump who is in. If you voted him in, you expect perfection within 6 months. You should have never voted him. You're in the wrong business. What he's done in 6 months, no president's done in 2 years. Let's see what he's going to do in the next couple of years. But I'm not convinced he's going to sit there being pushed around, and I think he's renegotiating a lot of different things. And I actually think a part of it he has Bibi needing him. Bibi's never faced an unpredictable candidate like Trump, ever. He's never faced an unpredictable candidate like Trump.
So let me ask you a question. With what Bibi wants, okay, because this is going to the hostages, right? They want the hostages. I understand that 100%. What's the end goal? Meaning, how do you think you're going to get them back from terrorists if you're going to go attack? It's the fate of the terrorists. It's not going to be like a negotiation. If you're going to go into war, he knows that they're going to die at that point. But I'm mad at like if you're going in and you're like, okay, enough is enough. We're going all in. Those hostages are going to.
What did Reagan do when he was negotiating with terrorists? The famous line you said earlier.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
So what do you do? Like so Reagan said that Reagan's a great president. Bibi says that Bibi's a bad person. What's the difference here? I'm actually curious.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying what is this?
We
going to
say
look like?
you don't negotiate with terrorists, but another guy says it. Oh no, it's. Do we forget Reagan says we don't negotiate with terrorists? Do we forget some of the stuff that we said? Do we not celebrate when the stuff happened with Qasem Soleimani? I don't understand the oversensitivity topic with Israel. I have a very hard time understanding it. I get it. Trust me. They over-negotiate a lot of deals, but it's like overly sensitive topic when it comes there. As if they rule the world, and they don't.
And Vinny.
Yeah, it's and by the way,
I'm not saying they rule the world.
No,
I'm just saying when it comes to America, I'm America first.
Yeah.
Period. I'm not America only. Okay. I'm just saying when I see bad stuff happening, I get it. But Pat, I was in during 9/11, which that's a whole nother conversation.
No, you're not America only. You're America first. I'm also America first. We're both America first.
100%.
We're when we talk about this stuff, to me, I watch the over sensationalism of what's going on with this, of turning it into something bigger than it really is. And then I also meet the guys that come from Israel and they tell me how perfect everything is. I'm like, dude, stop. Don't do that with me like, oh my God, everything is perfect. No, I get it. I know what you're doing. I know what your motives are. I fully understand why you're supporting Israel, and I respect the fact that you support Israel. I get it. Totally understand. But I'm banking on the guy that I got on his bus, the example of Coach K, Trump, that he's going to be able to negotiate favorably better than any other president we've ever had before. That doesn't mean on 100% of all issues, because that's called impossible. And every commentator on news, media, podcaster that acts like this is what he should do, let's put you in there and see what you would do within a second. Go ahead. You go get the job. They make it seem like they would be incredible presidents negotiating everything perfectly. No, this game is hard, and he's the best one we've had so far in the way he's negotiating. Doesn't mean you have to support everything he's doing. Doesn't mean you can't criticize him. Doesn't mean you can't sit there. I'm the guy that at this panel gave the lowest score after 100 days to Trump. And I get a message from a bunch of liberals telling me, hey, great job on your analysis. I give a C-, and a bunch of Trump people are pissed off at me. And you give me an A- on that.
I give him an A-.
I give a C-. You know what I got? Messages I got? What a freaking trade. I'm like, no, this is my position. I'm not trying to win or make friends. I'm telling you where I'm at. You don't like it? Go watch somebody else. They gave me an A+. I'm not that guy. But when it flips, I'll also give that score, Tom.
Yeah, in terms of strategy, Vinny, I have killed all the hostages is usually the last words of an enemy that's about to be overrun, because you're being very careful. Why? Because there's hostages. You're trying to be surgical. You're trying to get to the tunnels because there's hostages. You're trying to go door to door and be very precise about who you take out because there's hostages. The minute you take pictures and said, we've killed all the hostages, so there, I unleash hell.
Yeah, it's a green light.
Right.
For sure.
So that's not usually the way terrorists operate. At the core of terrorism is cowardice, and I've killed all the hostages is usually an incredibly weak negotiating position that results in horrors.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, on this topic, I want to hear nothing from Adam.
That's true. That's true. I fully understand why you wouldn't want to hear from me.
Go ahead, Adam.
Well, let me be, when it comes to Israel and what's going on in Gaza, let me be completely logical.
Here we go.
And not emotional, because we saw what happened last time when I got emotional and I freaked out. So let me just be completely logical. Number one, the Muslim world does not care about Palestinians. If they did, they would take them in. Much like Israel took in people from literally countless countries, dozens of countries after the Holocaust. Not one Arab or Muslim country has stepped up to take in Palestinians. Egypt hasn't done it. Jordan hasn't done it. Saudi hasn't done it. Iran certainly hasn't done it. Lebanon, Syria, the list goes on. You know who has done it? France, UK, the woke world. If I was advising Bibi Netanyahu, here's what I would tell him. Keep doing what you're doing. Do not listen to one single iota of word from the woke mob. They have no clue what it's like to live literally next to terrorists. You know, usually when you lose a war, there's a clear winner and loser. Israel's not allowed to win a war. The best they can do is draw. Why is Israel, which they're doing, responsible for feeding the country they're at war with? Is Russia feeding Ukraine? Is Thailand feeding Cambodia? Is Pakistan feeding India? Zero. Did America feed Afghanistan or feed Iraq? Why is Israel expected to feed the country that is sworn to kill them? Now, you talk about negotiating with terrorists. They're literally negotiating with a terrorist group that is sworn to kill them. And now you want, okay, so let's go there. Palestine deserves their own state. Let's give them their own state. Who's running the state? Well, it's Hamas. So now you're going to have a Hamas, the terrorist organization, run the country you want. To me, it's a complete non-starter. Bibi and Trump, what you say goes. That's it.
All right. And on that note, if you guys want to support Adam's AIPAC campaign, we have a website for you guys to go to. But if you want to message Adam, and tell them you agree with them or not. Here's his Manect. Vinny broke an all-time record last month in a month.
When is our dinner? When is our dinner?
Contest is we're
coming.
It's coming up in a couple weeks.
Can't
yes,
wait.
the people that won, they know about it. We're gonna have it here soon. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting, gang. Once again, the last thing I'll tell you: the 20 Threats webinar that's coming up. Rob, if you can go to the website, go to vtwebinar.com, register to get that white paper. We're gonna do this every single year to give that report to you. Go to vtwebinar.com. Put it in your calendar. August 19th. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got to get out of here to get on a flight to go to L.A. To L.A., we're coming to you, but we're not coming where you think we're coming. But we are coming to L.A. We're going to see some of you guys.
Live and die in L.A.
I'm going to become trans,
Pat, thank you for an awesome Vegas trip, the PHP event.
This was amazing.
If you
This
guys
was
are watching
amazing.
at
This was
PHP,
amazing.
great job. Integrity, great job.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Take care, everybody. God bless. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What was the Mustang thing? Hilarious.